Welcome everybody to Thursday night, top of the morning to you. We are here. We are fueled by beer and shenanigans for everybody. We're going to have a good time tonight. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. We're going to show some stuff that's green. We're going to show some people that spent some green on some comics on the Comic Link auction. Some new eye-opening numbers that were quite attractive. Today is tomorrow. Well, today, tomorrow, depending on where you are. Tomorrow, for you over in the Europe world or Asia or anywhere else east of New York, is currently it's 5 years since Bernie Wrightson passed. So I figured we might as well incorporate a little bit of Wrightson into the golden age, just because he's my favorite artist, but he's also a very heavily influenced by the horror and especially Frazetta. So we can definitely talk about some Bernie Wrightson, but it's good to have everybody here. I noticed some people that were hanging out. So hope everybody's here. We are definitely fueled by beer. We're fueled by whiskey. And tonight's show is brought to you by Green Spot Irish Whiskey. Lee, I see Lee's in the chat. This is one of my favorite single pot stills. It is fantastic as always. So there we go. Well, for all of you that haven't thrown up yet on your neighbor or done anything stupid today.
Is it really today?
St. Patrick's Day is today, yeah.
I've been so nose down at work. I didn't even.
Same here. I literally got done with work, watched the Ranger game. I made corned beef today, and I made Reubens with it. So, you know, for those of you that don't know, corned beef and cabbage is an American-Irish tradition, not an Irish tradition. The reason being is that it's just a fact. I mean,
they ate more potatoes, didn't they?
Yep, of course I boiled some potatoes. The Irish boil everything, you know. They avoid cholera that way. So that's a good thing. So, all right, so we're going to have some good times to talk about this. You saw some green comics out there. I just want to shout out to people that know there's Green Llama, Green Giant.
Green Mask,
which I shown. Yeah. Green Hornet. Green Lantern. Green Arrow. That's part of it here. So one of the things I found, I did not know there was a Green Giant comic, but there is a Green Giant comic. There's one issue only. I showed it in the intro.
Is it Jolly?
Not quite. No, didn't seem too happy on the cover.
Not the Jolly Green Giant?
It's definitely not the Jolly Green Giant, but I always thought that was quite there. So before there was a Hulk who went green, he was gray first. Before he went green, there's been a lot of other green. So let me introduce everybody. Lewis, how are you, my friend?
Doing good. You know, winter's turning to spring. It's all good. There's a lot of us out there, continue to collect and watch the markets and just generally enjoy the hobby. And, you know, it's getting close to maybe some spring cons and walk around, check out some books. But it's all been good. I put on a green hat. I didn't have anything else green on today. So, you know, I switched out on that, you know, so I have something going on.
It's not purple. That's okay.
Yeah. It's not purple, but yeah, no, it's going well. Yeah.
All right, Knights of Old, what do you got going on over there?
Well, I put some green heroes together. Maybe that's about the best I could do. Let's see. Yeah, you know, I was watching those auctions and I tried a couple, and yeah, I'm just not. You know, I thought I was doing okay, but apparently I'm a broke ass peon.
Well, we're parents. That's what happens.
There's a couple of the auctions. Do you guys remember? You know, it's funny. Sometimes you remember the commercial, but you can't remember what they're pitching. I think it was an insurance commercial, but it had the guy that would show up and he had the fishing reel. He's like, it had like $1 hanging for somebody getting a discount. He's like,
well, you almost had it.
You almost had it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of us like at the very end of those comic books. You almost had it. That's how I feel a lot of times. Well, actually, some of them were like,
I almost got it. And then I'm like, oh, I don't got it. And then later on, when it ends, I'm like, yeah, I never had it.
Yeah. There's some of them like, yeah, you weren't even sniffing the bait kind of thing. But yeah.
All right,
What's up, Jeff?
All right, DS, how are you doing?
Yes.
Good to be here.
I am good. Yeah, so it was really busy, and so I had sort of a long evening, and yeah, so a little bit late, but yeah, good, ready to go. I got some new books. I don't know what you all talked about already, but yeah, excited.
Now we just talked about the different covers with
Being
green
broke.
in it.
Being
and
broke.
how broke we are, and
Yeah.
we talked about some whiskey.
I was complaining that I couldn't buy anything in the auction.
Oh yeah. Yeah, prices are still going.
Yeah.
So.
Sean just put in that he's a auction loser as well. Yeah, I mean, I kind of emailed Vince. I said, when is that this specific Airboy that he said he had? And I didn't see it in the auction. I don't see it for sale. He says next time. And I said, okay, if I buy it now from you, I'll give you this. After the auction ended and a book that's similar to it went up for sale, and it went, he immediately responded and said, yeah, that's not going to cut it. I'm like, all right. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's still deals to be had out there, but they're not in the big auctions. Like featured auctions, forget it. If you have money and there's a book you want, you can go balls to the wall and maybe get it. But if you can find deals maybe here and there occasionally in like a Heritage Weekly,
yeah,
or eBay or private sales, or just sort of have cash on the side and keep an eye out and don't have a want list and just be like pure opportunist and just see what happens. And then you have to wait on the books. But to go target stuff in these big auctions, I mean, I honestly did not watch a single book in the Comic Connect auction, not a single one. And I don't think I didn't even watch one in the Comic Link auction. I didn't put a watch bid on anything in there. Now, part of that's because I don't have any money to work with, but it's the first time I haven't put watched anything in Connect or Link. I've tuned in here and there during the nights when it's been going on, but it's just I'm not trying to score deals all the time, but it's just too insane to even get my hopes up or plan. I picked up 3 other books, and only one was from a Heritage Weekly, and the other 2 are outside of all this stuff.
I did pick up this. I did finally get this. I guess I ordered it a while ago, and it came in. So it goes with the Mando helmet I have and the Vader helmet I have, and it's as Irish as it gets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pretty cool. I want to shout out to Matt Bush, the guy who sent me one of the celebration posters from 2015. And he drew on it for me, and that was really nice of him. He didn't have to do that, but he was really happy to hear that the Vader painting I have, they asked about it from the 25th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. Somebody asked him about it. He goes, some guy who's got it in his collection. He's got a lot of original art, and he reached out to me. Hey, are you the one with that thing? You mind if if you send me a picture of what you have? I'm like, yeah, what you have with it. So I did it, and he sent me this gorgeous poster, and not poster, print. The original print from the Celebration 2015 Boba Fett. It's got him on that dinosaur, like from the
oh yeah
special. Yeah, it's over there, and let's see if you can see it farther over there. See it next to Baby Yoda over there. It's kind of hard to see, but it goes with everything else. So that's it. I'm done. Can't have any more, but he drew a Boba Fett on the side of it and signed it. And
nice. Yeah.
So cool. Yep. Other than that, I've been busy working on firearms, trying to get their springs in order, because I've got some shooting class, some competitions coming up that I've got to get ready for. So I do a lot of my own gunsmithing. So that's the fun stuff.
Well, you want to see some? I got some new stuff here.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
15 and 9, by the way. Yes.
I don't know if you guys already did like show and tell or not.
No,
we haven't. We want you.
You pretty much joined up right at the beginning. So
yeah, we
awesome.
do.
Yeah, I'm super excited to show you guys these 3.
Yeah, I know there's one there that I'm freaking out about. So.
Yeah, you want to put me on the big screen?
Yeah, coming on the big screen right now.
And I already called dibs on one of these.
Yeah, I like one.
I want this. I want the skeleton. How much for the skeleton in the background? I want the skeleton, the little skelly.
Yeah, dude, I've had that for many, many years. It's cool. I don't know. I've got a bunch of just random stuff around here.
Yeah.
But for the book, so this first one, I actually got this from a viewer of this show. He hit me up through Mike, actually. I think he talked to Mike, and Mike sent him my way. And he's heard that I've wanted this book because he's heard me talk about it on this show many times. I've brought this up many times. I've never owned a copy of this book. I love this book. I'm so glad like Mike put me in touch with him and that he asked to be put in touch with me. We worked out a deal. He gave me a decent price, and it's a really nice copy. And it's Catman 28.
Oh, yeah.
LB Cole.
Look at that beauty.
Yeah, and it's like perfect.
I like it better than,
too.
Yeah, I tell people I like it better than the Mask 1 and 2 cover. I like it. It's just more cold.
Yeah, and it's got like you can see this tear in the middle of the title, interior to the cover. But other than that, this book, the colors are solid. Structurally, it's good. I mean, it's not tore up.
Structurally, it looks perfect. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's a really nice copy.
I can't see that tear at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it goes across the A and the T.
It's awesome. And like, you never see those for sale. At least I don't.
No, I've been looking for one for years, and you know they come up. It's not like the rarest book ever, but I've just missed out. Either it was too high a grade, or it wasn't the right time for me, or whatever. And this is like perfect. So I really appreciate it. And if he's watching, he knows who it is. I don't know if he wants me to specifically name him, but much appreciated that he sent this my way. So
thanks for reaching out. It's awesome to see a book, go in someone's hands who wants it so bad. It's really fun.
Yeah, so thanks. That was really, I appreciate it, Mike, also for hooking that up, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of like, wait a minute. What is this? Why do you need to talk to GS? What you got there? Huh?
Yeah, well, luckily it wasn't something you wanted, so it got through you to me, so that was good. Yeah, so all right, I'll just throw this up. Jumbo
ridiculous.
Number 10.
Yeah. There it is.
1939 Lufine.
I love that puck.
Yeah, I mean, it's low grade, but it doesn't have any notes. It's creamed off white, and it's a little dirty, but it's for a 1.5, this is about as good as you're gonna get. Honestly.
It's one of my favorite Fine covers outside of Fantastic 3.
Yeah,
and it's always been one of my favorites up there. When somebody asked me, it doesn't have an elephant on it, flat out what somebody said to me, why do you like that so much? I'm like, because it's one of those that I think is of the run, it's the most iconic of jumbos that you'll see in a slab, because you won't see one in a slab, but it's one of my favorites.
And this was I got this on eBay, and so as soon as I became aware of it, I pretty much pulled the trigger immediately, which was very soon after it got listed. I know a couple friends of mine saw it and passed on it, and then I was like, well, I'm not going to pass on it then. So I got this for a pretty good price, and it's not a book you see very often. But Lufine Sci-Fi, I mean, you're not passing that up for a good price, especially a complete, unrestored, like presentable copy. So, this was just sort of an impulse, quick trigger pull on this.
When you touch that book, is it warm to the touch? Is it hot? Like he stole it?
Hey, I mean, look, it was. I feel like the price on it was good. You know what I mean? It's low grade.
I'm giving you a hard time. No, it was a fair price. I remember taking a look at it. I told him the story. I went into the gym and I saw it. I was like, huh, interesting. I'll take a look at it when I come back out. And I came back out and it was gone. And then, that's a good pickup. It's a good book.
Yeah, thanks. It's hey, a Lufine Sci-Fi. I'm not gonna pass that up. And they're becoming harder to find because everybody's going after them and they're expensive. So I mean, you can find a decent one at a good price. Just grab it. Don't fret over the price because it's gonna be gone. So those two I got. That was Jumbo 10. And I bought this. I bought the Jumbo 10 before I got this. This I won in a Heritage auction. Jumbo 11.
Love that. Love the redness on that book.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's got a little spine. It's got a split on the bottom, which limits the grade, but the colors on this are beaming. It's really, really beautiful copy.
Nice.
And I guess the word is this was meant to be the cover to Planet Comics 1,
Yep.
And then so for whatever reason, it wasn't. And this has an ad inside the back cover for Planet Comics 1 and Jungle 1 and Fight 1. So some cool ads inside this, and again, a pretty cool Lou Fine sci-fi.
Is that all the same publisher?
It's called Fiction House. Yep.
The Catman is Continental.
All these three are Fiction House. Oh, the Catman's Continental.
Yeah, Catman's Continental, which is the same one that did the Suspense Comics run. Yeah, that's 1945. So the Jumbo 10 is 1939. The Jumbo 11 is 1239 to 140. So hit the newsstands in 39. So both Jumbos are on the newsstands in 39. The Catman is from 45.
Where does the Catman, is it after Mask 1 and 2?
Those are Rural Home. Those are like 1945. And, the Catman is 6 of 45. So I'm like 50-50. That's
I always thought those three look cool together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to, I have a Mask 1. I've never owned a Mask 2, but this will go good with my Mask 1. I'll post them up sometime together. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I always thought, like, if I'm going to have the Cole Rushmore, those are the three that you'd start with, and then it's debatable what you do after that.
Yeah, the Mask 2, it's just a matter of price, and I'm looking for deals, but sometimes I'm pretty cheap, and I don't want to pay like $5,000 for a beat-up, low-grade copy of a Mask 2. So maybe I'll never get one. But I didn't want to do that for a Mask 1 either, and I did get one. So, things will work out, and some books I'll get and some I won't. I'm not going to fret over it. And I would like a Mask 2, but I'm not paying through the nose for a beat-up copy, and I don't want to. I need like a decent 2.5 that goes low for the market. Will that ever happen? Who knows?
What's funny is I remember that Catman came up very close to when you sold one of your big books that you were kind of like, why did I do that?
Yeah, right.
It was almost a trade.
It was. That's exactly. Yeah, that freaking National 16, man. Damn it. I put a price on it that I thought was, fair but high. And dude just claimed it quick. So apparently it was a really good price, but whatever. I mean, it was cool to own a National 16.
I think that was a good trade. If it was.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with it. Look, I'll always be the guy who's owned 2 copies of National 16. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. I always tell people I collect comics and I collect memories of comics. And so I have the memories of having 2 National 16s, both nice copies. So there you go.
I hope you took a picture of them together.
I did. I posted it.
All right. That's good. What about you, Lewis? You haven't been on in a while. Have you got any awesome things? I saw that you posted a bunch on Instagram finally.
Well, over the last year, I don't know, I keep telling folks, hey, I'm going to eventually be on there. And finally, I just said the heck with it. So I just started posting, and I like to joke that I joked that I came out from behind the shadows. Sometimes you talk to people and you're just kind of this blank Instagram page. So yeah, I've got some other things I have picked up. I have just a few things here just sitting on my desk only because I haven't put it away. I got some stuff that I don't have on wall. I'll kind of show some pickups. I think these are all from people kind of within the community, as I like to say. They're all people that are on IG, decent folks. I've got some other stuff that I actually found separately, but so I'll just kind of go through them here.
Yeah.
And before I get to these, an idea just happened I think we're going to need to do. When you talked about Mask and you talked about the Catman being better than Mask, I bet you there's some people out there kind of battling on this.
Oh, absolutely.
But what we need to do is, in the spirit of March Madness, we need to come up with our 68 or 64 team, and they're all comics, and we're going to have them pair off to see who's the number one book.
Oh, nice.
I think we can do that. We
So
each have to come up with our own region, okay? We each have our own region.
We have a region, and then we put our books in there, and then we're gonna have a March Madness, and we're gonna take votes from votes from people that watch the show. And we're going to see which books come out as, that make the final 4 and the final 2. I like it.
Yeah, we have to be careful we don't dupe anything. So we probably have to limit it to, we have to pick we'll probably pick publishers on our own. Your 1 seed, your 2 seed.
Exactly.
We should put a couple of the like super heavy hitters in the same bracket. So otherwise,
absolutely.
Otherwise, everybody's going to know what the final 4 is if they're all spread around in the bracket.
Oh, I would throw a Tech 31 up against a Fantastic 3 just to piss people off.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. And then we can throw like Suspense 3 up against like
Marvel 1.
Yeah, I think the Marvel 1.
Timely versus timely.
So anyhow, when I was listening to that, it just, every once in a while, like, I get nuggets of just an idea. Occasionally an idea is decent. I think this one can work out. So anyways,
occasionally they're legal too.
What's that?
Occasionally they're legal.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think we put together those and then have them be the books, and we'll take votes from people, figure out, and we'll just kind of I think it'd be a fun disagreements and fun battles as to which ones people think books are better than the other book, and this artist in that way. It's I think it's a good conversation. But so anyhow,
our own bracket.
So I'll show a couple of things that I've grabbed, and again, I think if people are watching, they might recognize some of them. One of them I'll start with is not necessarily, it is a pulp, but it is a pulp that has been swiped by various comics. So
yes, spicy.
Oh yes, Spirit.
Oh, nice.
So yes, it's I don't have too many pulps, just a handful, but again, it is one I kind of liked. I suppose that spicy mystery runs. There's some pulp runs out there that I do dig. But anyhow,
wasn't there a Spirit issue with a cover like that, or was it?
There's a couple, yeah. I'm trying to recall. There's a couple pre-code horror that basically swiped it. Maybe it could be a Spirit has one too. Yes, the Spirit has. Yep, that's right.
I think there's one that's like a direct swipe, and somebody in the chat probably knows. I see these guys. One of them has to know.
Oh.
I mean, there's one that's almost a direct. That's a direct swipe of that.
Yeah, and so I kind of thumbed through some of the pages. The stories in here are, how do I put it, like off the wall, like not for kids. There's like the secret dungeon sex club stuff, like it's just it's off the wall bizarre, like of some of the stuff that's in the book. It's but anyhow, all right, now back to the Golden Age realm. Again, some of the stuff I've literally just picked up the last couple of days in the mail. There's like a
Chesler.
Yep. So again,
that's a good one there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice colors.
Yeah. The colors are pretty sharp. I mean, it's missing a little bit of a piece here and so forth, but I was cool with it. I just it's one of those one-shot Cheslers that, and I do like Cheslers, and sometimes you see it and you think, well,
you're a sneaky guy. All of a sudden, you'll just sneak up, and it'll be like one of the best collections ever. It'll just slowly, and you don't like to get rid of your stuff, so it's slowly building.
It's a black hole. Yeah.
So it's funny we leeway into that. So I got 3 more here, and then I'll just
there's the direct by Prime Mysteries. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's another one of the swipes. Yeah. There's a handful of them. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so thanks to Lee in the chat for that. I knew there was one that we could.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
So here's one that I picked up again from the IG group. Now, this is the only qualified book that I own. Everyone hates the green label, but it's green. Shoot, I didn't think of that. It's March.
Hey,
it's St. Patrick's Day, so we got to have green. We should have had more green labels. Break out your qualifieds.
I got some.
But so this one here is just missing the centerfold. So I'm like, whatever. I'm always interesting. Like, what gets a 0.5 versus a qualified? But that's a different call. But anyways, it's a Keen Detective. It's from 1938.
Ooh, we got ourselves a.
Oh, nice, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, I've never seen that one before.
That's a centaur.
Yeah, I hadn't either, and so I again, I thought it was kind of a cool book.
Who did the cover?
It actually, it's not anyone I've recognized. Well, I take that back. I think Will Eisner has art in the book, but it says John Patterson cover. The art, but it's Will Eisner is, and along some other names, did some of the interior art, but the cover was a John Patterson.
Yeah, I never recognize any of the names from the Centaurs except for Bill Everett. But
Yeah.
There's not many of them.
So anyways,
it's funny that's a real good book. I mean, they don't come around up at all. I mean, I saw one at Baltimore that was just not worth it for me to pursue. Remember that one, Lewis? I showed you.
Yeah.
It was just
so. Yeah. So anyways, on that one, it was kind of like the creepy guys and masks and a knife. I'm like, man, right up my alley, So, all right. So, lastly, I don't want to take up everyone's time here, but so I do rarely in my lifetime have ever sold or traded a book. I'm a bit of a hoarder in that way. However, I recently just did a trade only because I think both of us wanted each other's books, but neither one of us are wanting to sell the books. So we essentially did a trade. And so in the trade, basically, another gentleman that's out there. So if you might have seen them posted, you now know where they came from and where they went. But one of the books that I picked up in the trade was a 5.0 Dark Mysteries. And I apologize for the glare in here. It's almost like I need sunglasses underneath this light. But it's actually white pages.
Ooh, okay.
So again, white pages, Dark Mysteries 10. And I don't necessarily know. I guess I always think this book is really neat. I'm not saying it's a high, it's a key or anything, but I believe they are tougher to come by than you think that they are.
Well, I'll tell you, that is, in my opinion, without a doubt, the best cover in that run. And I know 19 is more iconic, but I see 19 often enough. That one, I never freaking see that one come up for sale ever, and definitely not in a 5.0 pages. And that is my favorite, and I think that's definitely the best cover in the run.
And what publisher?
Master Publications. Master.
Because it looks very EC kind of,
Yeah, it does have sort of an EC flair a little to it, but
the like big planet, it almost has the like,
Can you give us a close up of the women burning? Because I mean, it's really, really gruesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're on fire and screaming there.
Yep.
It's brutal.
One of DS's favorite dreams.
Oh, I have that dream every single night. Except the one that's not burning, I usually free her and then we go off. And
so, all right. So last but not least on this one. So on this particular book, same gentleman, I was going to say great to work with. I mean, we're more of a collector as well. I think he got this book in back in 2020 and he was waiting to get it back. So I wasn't hounding him, but I was kind of like, hey, if you're ever interested in selling it. Well, I don't know that he was as much, a little bit. I think we worked out a deal, and so he partied because he just got it graded. But it's a Champ 22.
Ah, nice.
Man, that's a tough one.
Damn.
And again, it's white
pages.
Like the
Champs. Yeah.
Yeah, 4.0 white pages. Jesus. Man, that's a good copy there.
Yeah, that looks sharp.
Yeah,
I never see that one for sale either. I'm not sure I've seen that before at all before you showed it to me, but it's possible. I don't see those very often. Is that a Harvey?
It is a Harvey. Yeah, and
yeah,
so
Harvey from the 40s are tough, man.
Yep.
Yeah, so I have a few. I've kind of collected a little bit of the film strip Harveys, so I have them, and that was one that I was just like, hey, I'd really like to kind of fulfill the run. So I just traded a book that's certainly very, very cool. It was tough to part with, but I feel like, hey, what do they always say? Like the right deal is one where both feel a little bit of pain and sorrow. That means it was a fair deal for all, right? And so
I thought it was when both people thought they ripped the other guy off.
That could be the maybe So, but I think in this particular case, like he certainly was saddened to part.
Yeah, I think a good compromise is where both parties are dissatisfied.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it worked out. I'm glad. And I've got some other stuff, but I don't want to take up some time on
No, go ahead, show it.
Yeah,
well, I was gonna say I don't have them in here. I've got them basically, so I put them. But I'll get through them. I was gonna say I could grab them here in a little bit, I suppose. But
I
yeah.
All
can
right,
show
we'll
some.
get back to you.
I actually got a Golden Age book.
That was a
So,
good time, Lewis. Go up and go get him. What do you get?
well, first I want to show a couple of green books since I was just running around trying to see if I've had any. Here's a nice green one. Right?
Yeah, not bad. Number 4.
Classic.
Yeah, it's pretty classic.
Green. Pretty
Oh,
much.
I love that one.
Yeah. Always a good one.
Great cover.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, crap. I can't remember the movie right now, but I think it's maybe one of the Infinity War ones where Spider-Man, they're attacking New York City, and Spider-Man's like in this park. And I swear for a split second, there's like a statue that gets knocked over.
It's Washington
I know what you're
Park
talking
there,
about.
yeah.
I'm thinking maybe it's that, but I
I'll have to check next time I watch that.
I could never see it clear enough to really know. Here's another green one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Keep
All right.
showing that to me every time.
This one has some green, and it kind of goes with. It makes a nice pair with the book I got. There's some green.
Nice.
Oh, I like.
Maybe that's more of a purple cover, I guess technically, but
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool color. I like that usage of purple and gray. It's kind of a cool.
yeah,
color.
it's a great graphic design. Yeah, and I don't get too many war books, but there's a few that I always kind of have my eye out for, and they're usually expensive, but this one I felt was a fair price, so I went for it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that one.
Pretty decent condition, and I don't have any Heath. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, people are still sleeping on these covers, and especially the Heath stuff is so freaking good. I mean, it's just so good. I don't know.
Found 2 Russ Heath when I was going through the green books today. Found those 2 with the light, the Worlds of Suspense or Worlds of Unknown or whatever.
I love that explosion in the background, the planes dropping the bombs while these guys are fighting.
Yeah.
That cover reminds me of my wife talking me to go into the quilt shop. That's what that reminds me of. It's like,
but you go anyway.
I go, but it's the discussion goes a little bit.
Wait, the quilt shop.
Yeah, my wife is.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Oh yeah, it's a hoot.
So,
but I thought it goes well with this one.
Yeah, that's a good combo.
Yeah.
Let's bring that on the big screen for a minute. It's a good combo, yeah.
They both have some nice solid colors in the background, very kind of calm up there by the title, and then some good tension down in below.
Cool.
Weren't you like a while back? There's a foxhole one that you were always chasing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was this one.
Yeah.
That one. That's what I thought it was. Yeah. Okay. I thought that's right. Yeah.
Couple. I'm going to show 2 green covers with Sheena on.
I'll buy another one if you can find one.
So he brought out Sheena number 9, Jambo. I think Rob brought it up here. This is my pedigree. Sheena number 9. No, I'm not getting it slabbed. Still not getting it slabbed. The reason why I like this one more than my other one I've had is because most often or not you don't see the pink or the blue on the bottoms.
Oh yeah.
Usually they're all faded. This one has it all on there. This is actually in really good shape. The only mark on it is that, but if you recognize the pedigree, there it is. It's Japanese.
I don't know that I've seen that book before.
I wouldn't know what pedigree.
So this is one.
What's the pedigree?
The pedigree on this one is from Japan. It's a Japanese.
Oh,
yeah. It's
nice.
a Japanese pedigree. And then there's this one, which it's kind of cheating with the jungles because they all have it. But this is one of my favorite Sheena covers right here. She's blessed. And
Yeah, it's a pretty good cover.
it is a good cover. And then I picked there's a ton of jungle ones with the label being green, but there's one I like with it's It's a Baker cover, and it's kind of cool.
Yes.
You know, you got the Baker hair and everything going on. So still one of the good ones there. Mid jumbo, you know, mid jumbo. That's that. So I just wrote that. Oh, and I did. Oh no, the Voodoo doesn't have any green on it. I just put the Voodoo up for the hell of it.
You're just taunting me with it.
I'm talking. Wait, you still upset? Do you remember the price I paid?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. It's gonna say it's like, you even like Pre-Code Horror. He's like, I know, but it was a heck of a
But I
deal.
paid
And it has
$40.
an
$40 right in front of you.
Yeah, the Human Harvest. I used to have a copy of that.
This one?
Yeah, I when I was
Great.
I was full into PCH for years, and I remember getting that. There was very few Ajax Feral books I liked, but that was always on my list, and I remember snagging a lower grade copy of that, the Human Harvest, the Grim Reaper just slicing people as he rides this elephant. Yeah, such a good cover. You don't see that very often, honestly.
No, you don't. And Lewis I'm like, do you have one of these? He's like, I might. He goes, and then he flat out said, $40. I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
then
$40.
Other stuff.
I mean, I bought mine years before you got that one, and I paid way over 40 for mine. Not way over. I paid way more than 40. Really, yeah, it was a good bit more than 40 at the time, and that was years even before you got that one. So you got a good deal on that.
Yeah. I was gonna, Lewis, you mentioned up the pulps. There's a pulp that I've looked for that I haven't found. It's the Green Ghost Spicy Mystery. There's two of them.
Okay.
Then they title it Green Ghost Spicy Mystery. So it's separate from Spicy. It's part of that Spicy run, Spicy Detective, Spicy Mystery, Spicy, whatever the other ones are. Off the top of my head, they're real fun to do. The Green Ghost it's like a phantom kind of thing in the background. It's pretty cool. I was thinking of all the green ones we went through earlier: Green Lantern, Green Llama, Green Giant, Green Arrow. I showed the Wonder Woman cover when she has to go fight people. There's Leprechaun covers, and there's a really good, actually, I think it's Science Comics 1, the first story in Fox Publications Science Comics 1 is about the Banshee. Does anybody have a Science 1?
No.
It says introducing the Banshee.
Science Comics 1 I have.
Does it say the Banshee underneath it? Is that the one that has the Banshee name? Is it Science 1?
Not on that one, but I think
No, it's definitely the first. It's the first of one of the Fox publications. Either Science or one of the other ones. It says Banshee. The very first one is a Banshee, and it's literally an Irish-based story drawn by Eisner and Fine. And if you ever look for it, it's pretty cool. It's called Banshee. First appearance, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have a want list specifically anymore per se, but there are books that are very high on my not per se want list, if I can put it that way. And Science 1 and 2 are way up the list on that. But I'll wait and I'll be patient and whatever. I mean, I feel like Science 2, I've seen more of those than I feel.
Actually, it's fantastic.
Fantastic. I feel like there's been a few coming around. So, I mean, eventually I'll get a Science 2 and a Science 1. I like 2 better, but both of those are up the list.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I feel like they're out there. We're
going to get into the auction results, but we should probably talk about, since we talk about Pre-Code Horror and everything else like that. Do you want to should we bring up the Bernie Wrightson stuff? I'm sure everybody here is a fan of comics. You probably like Bernie Wrightson. So,
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show, just want to go over one or two things. Wrightson was a huge fan of Frazetta, and you could see it in his influences and everything else. And we get into the creepies and areas. I did the whole show on that one. We'll probably do a Warren publication show later on. It's not really Golden Age. But somebody asked me what's his earliest known work, and this is his earliest known work. outside of a tombstone he drew. This was when he was about, well, I'll give you the year of this is, well, it was $1. So, but this is a L. Sprague de Camp, signed by both, by the way, signed by both Bernie Wrightson and L. Sprague de Camp.
Oh, nice.
And this is the Conan. This is the first one here, and the story on the inside cover is the dust wrapper of this book is the work of the young Baltimore artist himself, Bernie Wrightson. And it's illustrated story by Roy Krenkel, which is another great storyline here. But this Conan reader, this I know the artwork went up for sale a while ago, and I mean these books are really hard to come by. They were less than 3,000. If you know anything about it, this was 1968, so 66, 65 was the first Warren. So he's in the first run of Warrens, which is just a drawing. But this is the first here.
Just for comparison, Bernie Wrightson's first comic book work was 1969, and it was
right.
Mystery 179, I think.
Which I brought right here. This is his first
Yeah,
work is the interior. This is not his cover. This is a Neil Adams cover. You can always tell Neil Adams covers on the house books because of the 3 children. Those are actually his 3 children he drew.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I have a graded one of those. Like,
so yeah, this is my copy.
That
book you do have a great
is undervalued still because it's late Silver Age. It's first Bernie Wrightson comic work. It's a Neil Adams cover and a good one. And if you can find that even like 8.5, 9.0 range, that's a gem in my opinion. I think I have a 9.2, which I bought. One time I maxed out eBay bucks. I didn't know you could do it, but I took advantage of all the promotions and I bought a ton of stuff. And when once you reach $500 in eBay bucks, you can't get any more eBay bucks. I didn't know that. So I had 500 eBay bucks. So I've used that money mostly to buy a 9.2 of that.
Nice.
So I felt like that was it's not something I would have spent the money on, but eBay bucks are good because you can use them on stuff you wouldn't normally buy.
Yes.
So I didn't really worry about the price too much.
And I've often liked this cover of his. Let me.
Oh yeah.
The big screen. I have all the Bernie Wrightson Marvel works and like 90%, 95% of the DC works. There's a few that pop up every once in a while, but this is one of my favorites right here. And this always reminds me, Giant Size shows. It's a good book if you just want to enjoy it. Of course, Detective Comics. This is.
What do you think he was the most proud of his work?
Frankenstein. And there's nothing like it. And I'm going to show that at the end. But, his first Marvel work, I think we went to last time was, what did we say was Chamber of Darkness? But Tower of Shadows, and then there's Chamber of Darkness.
Yep.
Yeah, most of my bronze horror that I bought, about half of it, I bought raw. And so I look through them and read the stories, and there are some really killer Wrightson interior splash pages on a lot of those DC horror books. Really, really good stuff. Like his interior stuff, man, really parts. The detail is even better than the stuff on the covers.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell people, that his interiors were better than his covers. This is a great Tomb of Dracula. The one he did. There's only one he did. I found this in my run of Tomb of Dracula. I knew I had it. There you can see the lovely Wrightson signature down there. This is a great one. I just love the way this one's done. Of all the Tomb of Dracula covers, I know it's Wrightson, but it's so much more menacing. He's more menacing in here than he is in a lot of the other ones.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But when you go to Frankenstein, so this is my Frankenstein portfolio, which signed again by Mr. Wrightson. And I like showing this because this is one of the coolest things I've ever had seen. Remember, this was all done with pencil. He did not ink any of it. This is all pencil. Every bit of it was penciled.
Oh, so good. Crazy.
This is from the letter from them explaining to me. With actually, I like this. This is before this was the address. They actually had to hand write it. So I got his hand signature on his P.O. box. This is right here. I mean, it took, that's what I understand. He started this in 77. The book was written, realized by Mary Shelley, way before Bram Stoker ever had a drink. Speaking of the Irish, Mary Shelley, and this is, I believe, is one of the best scenes in the book. If you ever read the book, the scene of here, and he titled this "The Accursed."
Oh, I love that one.
Yep, and this is where the story of the Muck Monster from 19. I've got that whole Muck Monster run. Is there? There's some great panel work here. So I'm very happy to have, I might as well show the original art because I got it here. This is, a man who could take a Sharpie pencil and do this in a few minutes is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
It just sits there and it's to a good home. But there's some great storylines and everything else about this. And I had the Bernie Wrightson fan club books. And somebody asked me outside of Old Bay Spice, there's nothing really more Baltimore than Bernie Wrightson, Old Bay Spice, maybe Cal Ripken,
Maybe Edgar Allan Poe probably on that list too.
Edgar Allan Poe on that list, yeah. Drew Manchu.
I was gonna say I don't have one of the things like for Wrightson, you said Wrightson, so I grabbed a couple of things that were around here. I mean, clearly I have several of his books and so forth.
Well, I didn't show the coloring book you gave.
Yeah, I was gonna say, John. John and I went in and we both grabbed these like big monster.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and and the inside of it is literally a coloring book, but it just has all the art of various art of Wrightson, and a lot of it's really cool. So, for what it's worth, I just thought it was kind of neat. And then one other thing, and I'll be quiet here, is okay. So to me, like for the Wrightson, right? So I don't know. I would think it's arguably his most famous piece of work, right? Is going to say "It Shall Be Your Wedding Night," and so the original art piece I think sold for $1 million. But here, if I have a puzzle, at least of the famous art,
which is the cover of the first edition.
Yeah,
which wraps around to the back.
So to me, if you ever look at that artwork and you look at the depth, the level of how, I don't even know how long it would take to draw all that, like just the background of all the different stuff is amazing.
The bottles, every bottle is different.
Yeah.
The one thing about this book that when he finished this in 1982, when I went to publication, the reaction from and this was dedicated to the memory, by the way, of Roy Krenkel, who did his Conan book. So the polarity between the books, his first work he ever did, the Conan, L. Sprague de Camp, Roy Krenkel doing the work, Mary Shelley, L. Sprague de Camp has done Frankenstein stories, draws Frankenstein, dedicates this book to Krenkel. So I thought that was cool. It's like the bookends of, in my opinion, the best part of his career. I mean, Frankenstein Alive is okay. The artwork is great. You just can't resurrect a character like that. But when you go into the goriness of the book, the hanging woman, and then they go to make the bride, and just the Dr. Frankenstein storyline here. This was my find, mint condition, fully signed first edition. in a half-price bookstore in St. Joe's, Missouri. So,
Oh, yeah.
uh,
Yeah, that's good. I need to get a copy of that at some point.
yeah, try to the first edition, the hardcover. I know they're going for a lot now, but you could find them. I mean, I've saw somebody recently contact me, say, "Hey, I think I have the first edition as well." I said, "Just check the ISBN number," and he said, "Yep, this is that." I said, "Perfect. How much was it?" And he said it was $14.95, which is the original price of the book. In the 80s, that's what they did. The price of the book related to the IBSN number. And if you're a book collector, like I have a couple of first editions of some iconic books, some no Hemingway yet. I have some second 1926 editions of Hemingway's. But what I tell people is just do your research first, and you can find the right copy. There are a lot out there that say, "Hey, I've got this leather-bound version of the first print." I said, "Well, first of all, it wasn't leather-bound first.
Yeah.
Books don't get leather-bound till years later." And the big thing about that book is it's oversized for a reason. It's not a coffee table book because you don't want anybody spilling coffee on it.
Yeah.
But it's that size of a coffee table book where you see somebody with like the teacups of America, and it's just one of those things. I just recommend if you're going to go out and research one, reach out to me if you want. I'm on Instagram, JD. Reach out to me. I want to make sure you're getting the right stuff, especially when it comes down to Wrightson. I've spoken to some people that worked with Wrightson in the past month about another piece that I've recently saw that possibly could be coming up for auction that somebody's willing to sell. I don't know the provenance of it is accurate enough. It's between Warren Publications in there, and they say isn't this the Tombstone? I said, actually, he didn't put Bernie, he put Bernard on the Tombstone. He didn't put Bernie. They changed it to Bernie with an I, not IE. So it didn't seem right that it would be that exact piece or the first 1966 artwork of 15-year-old Bernie Wrightson, so to speak. So.
Yeah, and I'll buy one of those books, a first edition, and I'll be the person that just pays too much for it because compared to the comics that we're buying, it's like not expensive.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, even
I'll just pay whatever. I'll find one somewhere. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll take it. That'll be that. But I want to order one off of eBay. I'll find one at I'll find one maybe at a con or somebody I know will have one or whatever. But I'll get one eventually.
And if you want to see some great Bernie Wrightson work, that if you don't want to ever spend more than that, go to a dollar bin or $5 bin. They're still around. Look for Sword of Sorcery.
Yeah.
From 1973, there are 5 issues of it. It's Wrightson, Howard Chaykin, Al Milgram, Jim Starlin, and it's the artwork is ridiculous. And
I have I have a few of those raw copies here mixed in.
Yeah.
Somebody that I bought a collection off of that was their dad's. They all have Mark Jeweler inserts too because her dad was stationed in Germany and bought all his helmets overseas. And he was really into like Conan related stuff. I've got
which
Conan
is what it is, yeah.
and the Sword of Sorcery and Warlord. It's all freaking awesome stuff, man, to read through. I mean, they're all like mid-grade copies. They're nothing special, but they're all raw. I still have them all, and they're just so fun to read, including that title.
Yeah, I had a chance to ask Howard Chaykin. I said, so all you guys were living in an apartment together and hanging out together, Simonson and Louise Simon, everybody were all hanging out together, and the best you came up with was Sword of Sorcery.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, and honestly, that's the best work all you guys did. In my opinion, Conglomerate, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I got a couple Wrightsons here. I pulled out 3.
And I know I didn't show House of Secrets or anything else. I'm not going to get into
Yeah,
that.
no, I've got 3 to show, but there are 3 of my favorites. They're not necessarily like the biggest keys, but this is one of my absolute favorite Wrightsons and a pretty tough one to find in nice condition. Weird Mystery Tales 21.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have that copy.
Yeah, it is awesome. And it has, it's got a little May 21 date stamp. You don't see date stamps too often in
Do you have the sister book to that too?
I don't know. This 9.0, I bought this raw. Yeah, I bought this raw, and it's a 9.0 white pager, and I'm just so happy I found it. This is a really tough one to find a nice copy of.
There's a great one with the axe. It's House of Mystery with the guy with an axe. It's really good.
Yeah, I think there's axes on a few of them, but this is,
Yep.
yeah, I love this one. This is really tough to find in nice condition. And then I have a raw copy of this from friend Lewis on the panel, but this is not the one from him, but this is one I got from somebody else. But this is a 9.2 white, and it's House of Mystery 236, and this is one of my favorite Wrightsons. And this one is freaking impossible to find in high grade too.
Yeah, I should grade mine. Mine's near
Is that
mint.
the sister book you're talking about? Is that the sister book?
No.
Oh.
There's a whole run of the House of Mystery where the colonial period's being done, and it's featured on the cover. It's right after that one. It's a blue. It's a very bright blue cover.
And then this is also one of my favorite Wrightsons.
That's the one that I don't know if DS, when I was in Baltimore, that's the one where I looked at a guy. I said, "How much do you want for it?" And he wanted $250, and I said, I
bought this at a con raw, and I didn't mess with it. I just sent it straight in. It came back 8.0 off white to white.
Yeah.
I'd like a nicer copy of this, but it's square bound.
Very hard to find in high grade.
Yeah, so if I could get one in the 9s, I might, but it gets really pricey up there.
So many back covers are messed up on that one, and that's one of the best back covers you can have.
Yeah, this one really
the front cover is the back cover, but just the virgin variant is on the back.
Yeah, and this is pretty much an unmarred copy. I really think it's undergraded, but I mean, for an 8.0, there's this back. It's not showing up good on camera, probably, but because it's like a mirror when you have it black.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best backs I've seen of it. My biggest problem
back is spectacular. The front is spectacular. I don't know why this is 8.0. I think this is a 9.0, but it's not. So whatever. I mean, there's no spine ticks. There's no wear really at all on this thing. There's some very minor stuff, but a beautiful 8.0. I mean, black cover with no marks on the back. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And he's in this creature is in a pentagram over this person with candles burning around it, and you've got that one line of smoke going up. It's just one single line of smoke, and then there's so much negative space to the creature. If you notice, like if the actual stuff he drew, the top is not connected to the legs. It's like floating with all that negative space. It's so well done. I mean, it's just
he actually
so
one of the stories I got to hear from him from the artists that he worked with was he may not have inked his own work so many times if it wasn't done correctly. Like he would get the copy of the inked version of it and say, "Let me redo it," and then the pencil's missing, because he took the actual pencil copy and inked it himself, and then he sent it to the colorist and said, "Let me help you with this." Because Bernie, if you don't know, he did a lot of inking as well. He did not just early in his career, but later on in his career. But he did some like in Conan, and he did a lot of inking in. There's a Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night 33 or 30 and 38. Those have Wrightson inks in there. There's Conan 12 have Wrightson inks in there. So he was very versatile. He wasn't just a pencil and a Sharpie. He was much more than that as far as there. It was the best line I ever heard from Howard Chaykin was they were sitting there in 1973. We're talking about Sword of Sorcery, and they're sitting there doing this. There's a paper shortage, and they're all worried about their jobs. All of them. Starlin didn't come up with Thanos yet and was doing Iron Man, and they were talking about, Howard does a great backlog of what was going on, and he goes, and we're all sitting there and listen, we're literally eating crap food in this apartment. Al Milgrom was uptown, calls on the phone and says, "Hey, I need help with this one," and it's Sword of Sorcery. So we all start drawing characters here and there, and they go, we're all going to be out of work, and then they look at Bernie and they like, except for you, because you'll always be, you're Michelangelo. We're finger painters compared to you. It was just one of those great lines that he had. And I'm a big fan of Chaykin's work, obviously, but it was just the respect that he got from the community. He's the most, in my opinion, he's the one that everybody can say, well, geez, it's Wrightson for crying out loud, like even Steranko, who was a competitor almost with him, has always said, you know, Bernie, what I did with 50 strokes, he would do with 100 strokes in less time.
Yeah, and Wrightson does bear a pretty good resemblance in drawing style and line work, especially to Frazetta. He has that sort of wispy, intense look to all the characters, and Frazetta and Wrightson are definitely very similar.
Absolutely.
Very wispy, sharp, intense characters. Even the characters when they're not doing anything necessarily, they're intensely drawn, and all the characters that Frazetta does are like that. All the characters that Wrightson does, they're just super intense. All the characters are intense. The animals, the characters, it's just so intense and sharp, and it's got a very specific style.
And if
it's sort of like if you took, it's almost like Lou Fine, but like sharpened and horrified is sort of similar too, because he did really intense line work, but it's more fleshed out in a different sort of style. But yeah, there's not a lot of comic artists that put that much time and detail into their line work than Wrightson or a Lou Fine or like a Frazetta. There's a lot of artists. I'm a big Frank Miller fan. Well. He'll do an entire book with like 5 lines. You know what I mean? Right. He doesn't do a lot of lines.
Right. He doesn't draw my issue with Buscema. I love him to death. He's my favorite of the Thor and so separate and superhero. Is the iconic. He got me into comics. Draws from the elbow, is the theory of it. So, but Gil Kane and Bernie have that similarity of being around the same era. Gil being a lot older, but always put Gil Kane, even a Ditko, a Frazetta, a Fine, and Eisner, who just take that extra time, take that extra time. I mean, Wrightson did stuff on Ghostbusters too. Ghostbusters 1. He did. He did cereal boxes for the Count Chocula and shit.
Did he do the Creep Show? Like
Creep Show. Yeah. Oh, he did the interior. The cover is
the poster, the art, the poster.
Right. The Stephen King story of Creep Show. Because Stephen King did the forward in Frankenstein in payment for him doing work on Creepshow in 1982. It was the same year. And the cover, I think Creepshow, the cover wasn't done by him. The cover was done by, I want to say Gil Kane or someone like that. I have to look that up. I'm pretty sure it was Gil Kane. And the interior of Creepshow, of the comic, that whole of that book was done by him, but he did a lot of the set work, and that's what Bernie could do. He was multi-dimensional, like Frazetta. I mean, let's be honest, Frazetta's painting, Ghostbusters 2 painting is apparently attributed to, Wrightson, because he drew that in the set design. He drew the painting with such detail. They're like, okay, that's the pose we want,
Did he do this?
Yes, he did. That was him and Jim Starlin. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Cult.
I got a couple.
Really, Frazetta didn't. I mean, we're comic book collectors, but Frazetta, the least of what he did is really comic books. He doesn't have that many comic books, honestly.
Right. The best stuff he did was with Warren.
Yeah, the paintings and the Warren Publishing, which a lot of the paintings were used for, is Frazetta. And
the Molly Hatchet covers. Let's not forget the Molly Hatchet.
Yeah.
And
say, look, there's a mood that you get from a Wrightson work that is missing. This is just for me, but it's missing in some artists that are bigger, like more popular, like Kirby. When I look at a Kirby work, it's not evocative, where Wrightson works are super evocative. But Kirby is like, I don't know, Kirby is like epic in a more epic way. It's like if they were like classic rock bands, like Kirby would be like a stadium rock band. He'd be like Boston or something. You know what I mean? And then Wrightson would be, smaller and much more technical, maybe like a Rush or something. I don't know, but like, so I'm not really drawn to like the Kirby stuff. It's really good stuff, but I like evocative art, especially a horror type dark genre. The evocative element is key, and Wrightson has that in spades.
Let me show my my Wrightsons.
Yes.
I
And
only
we're
have,
doing the Wrightsons just for you that have joined late. Wrightson passed away 5 years ago tomorrow or today, depending on where
how old would he have been?
Geez.
Still alive.
Probably early 70s.
What year was he born?
Yeah.
He was born in like 1948 or 49, wasn't he?
He wasn't that old. When he passed.
He was
He was
born.
born at the end of the 40s, I think.
Yeah, because he was 16, so he was born probably late 40s.
I
Yeah,
almost think it was 49.
late 40s.
All right, so I only have 2, but I love his.
48.
As we're talking about his interiors, look how awesome that Batman is.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
This is the Swamp Thing one where he appeared, but I got this one
number 7.
Yeah,
Number 7.
because he signed it,
Yep.
so you could barely see. But hey,
Yeah.
and
I
then,
promise I'm not showing any more of my signed Wrightson 9.6s, 9.8s because people get pissed.
I got a few more green books I'll go through real quick.
Go ahead. Oh, wait, I like that one. That's my favorite Dr. Fate.
I didn't see this in the auction.
Let me put up that Dr. Fate again. That's what Dr. Fate should look like if they make it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Green cape on there, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, it has nothing to do with the book, but why does that one get a green? What did it?
Married cover
Okay, I guess that makes more sense. That makes sense, I suppose.
from the John Burke collection.
Oh, John Burke.
Number?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I think that's a Howard Sherman cover, right?
And I believe so. Yep.
You did a lot of
I
Dr.
heard as a little piece of trivia, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% sure, every single Dr. Fate cover in the Golden Age is a Howard Sherman cover.
Right.
Right. I'll go through some greens real quick.
Oh, and Sean says that's the first Dr. Fate cover.
Right. It's by far the best one.
That's right, baby.
That's the one. Remember, Lewis? I sent out.
Wait, that's a Wrightson?
Find a more fun, whatever, and they're like, "Why?" I said because
And New
that.
Mutants is a Wrightson?
It's a green.
Oh, I was going to say that's not Wrightson.
I was
That's
gonna say,
green.
he wouldn't work with Liefeld. If
Yeah, I was like, what?
I don't do Liefeld, but when I do, that's an okay one, I guess.
That's hideous.
And we got how about that one, huh?
I
Nice.
like Nam. I'm not going to
Green.
knock Larry Hannah.
It's a nice green one.
Yeah.
It's this cover
I
is
love the Nam covers. I love Nam. Nam covers are phenomenal.
well, it's interesting how the top, remember I was talking about in the war books, how it had like a calm one color at the top.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Mhm.
Very
Well, YouTube doesn't allow the thumbs down anymore, so you're good on that now. Keep going.
Yeah.
You're
You're good on the Nam, not so much on the New Mutant stuff.
Yeah. Well, they don't do thumbs down anymore. It hurts people's
well, what
feelings.
about Rom?
I like Rom.
Rom's a cool title.
I like Rom.
One
That's
of my
the Toronto conflict. That's actually a good
childhood
storyline.
favorites. Green.
Oh boy, Chris.
This star is good. That's got the Danzig cover in it.
Yeah.
Little G.I. Joe action with some green. Look how green that one is.
Larry
That's-
Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
These are that. Look at that. I loved that as a kid. And of course,
Oh yeah. First.
The
Snake.
silent.
Silent issue.
got one you guys love.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do like that one.
Yeah. And this is kind of green. Miller, rare
You're
Miller.
stretching. You're stretching right now.
Miller.
It's got some green in it. Yeah,
It's green.
that's green.
Yeah.
Like with
141.
purple with the green, like the foxhole. Purple and green goes well together. This is a great one. I think he might be on trial there. That's a good one. Oh, I love this.
Attorney.
I love that green cover.
I just sold.
That's a good run of X-Men there.
And that one.
Oh, that's actually a good one. That's actually a good Daredevil run.
Frank Miller.
Yeah,
That's like a second issue of his.
That's
Green hair right here.
oh the Canadians.
Kind of green.
Little stretch.
Oh, Colossus versus Juggernaut. That's good.
Green, nice green.
I like that one.
And Gamora, she's green. One of my daughters.
That's green.
Pooh Bear, yeah.
Green monster in here.
There you go.
Oh yeah, nice.
All right, keep going.
And
You may have redeemed yourself there with that one.
the first timely use of the word Marvel in their first
The
Marvel
pulp.
stories.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, I think John and I might have ran into some of those.
yes, we did.
Well, where is the all select one with the beaming green door?
Yeah,
Is there a green door in that?
yeah.
Well, I told you before, if I ever buy an all select one, which obviously is never going to happen, but I want one with a bright green door.
Hmm.
I think it's hard to find a really good bright green door.
I'll have to check mine out.
I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Isn't there like a 70s movie that we're referenced as the green door? Well, anyways, we'll go through something different.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me show you one more cool thing. This is a nice find from the East.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Show me big. This is a zinc plate. So they use this to print this old manga on. And original art is very hard to come by. These aren't easy to come by either, but I had to pick it up. It was very cool.
I always,
A zinc plate.
I wish I could have, in New York back in the day, somebody had a bunch of these and we didn't know what they were. And a guy asked me, I said, I've never seen it before. I have no idea what they are. They're like metal comics. And they ended up being the plates.
Very, very cool. Like I could actually, like I'm tempted to like try to print, put some ink on there. But yeah, really neat.
You tile a bathroom with that or something?
The who? What?
Yeah, you could. You
You
could
tile
probably
a bathroom?
Oh yeah,
Get enough of them?
you lose Wi-Fi.
I won't do that to this portion.
Yeah, this one has a lot of green.
That's what I'm talking about now.
But it's tough to find good green on, especially on the
No.
castle and then that door in there. But I mean, this one's this is an 8.0, but nice green castle and the interior door there. Good greens on this one. A lot of times it's gray. But yeah, so that's why if I buy an all select, I want good greens on it. And I'm never gonna get that book anyway. Get 2 O's, like what, freaking 15 grand.
Never say never.
Man, I never
Yeah,
read that.
well, I mean, look,
Dr. Fate cover.
I could probably swing one at some point, but I just don't see myself spending that much on a timely. That's the problem.
Is Marilyn Chambers behind that? Nah.
Oh, I like Marilyn Chambers. Christy Charlington would be better.
And one of the best green boxes.
Oh, the Silver Surfer one, yeah. It's actually repeats on Silver Surfer 4 is blue. Silver Surfer.
Oh wait, here's another green box.
Oh, and the X-Men has got the nice green.
Someone want to bring up the recent closing?
Yeah, I have my computer. The mouse is not moving. The track thing is completely dead, so I cannot do it.
Well, let me try if I can do it.
This really sucks.
But I don't know if does Connect let you look at past auction results?
I think there's a way. I thought I was doing it.
Let's check. I mean, the auction's still going on, so it's
Yeah.
We can't go through this entire show without at least maybe it was Comic Connect, so maybe we would get into it. We got to have at least a comment on whomever spent $7,000 for the #1 word cutout, letter cutout, and a CGC slab.
Is that how much it went for?
Yeah, it went for something a little over $7,000
For the Action 1?
No, for the #1, the cutout of the #1.
It's a nice green.
For what? For what book?
As Action Comics 1.
Yeah, it's Action 1. Whoever got the cutout of the 1, and somehow someone's going to prove to me that was from an Action 1.
Yeah, I don't know. Aren't there several that? I don't know. That would be an interesting conversation.
I call bullshit on all that stuff.
I don't get it though, like, because I could imagine if I sent that in to them, they'd be like, "We're not doing this."
Yeah.
How are they doing?
What providence do you have that it could possibly be from an Action 1, and versus it can't be from a, Mutt and Jeff 1 or something else during that time. You
Well,
know?
I have to imagine a lot of those DC.
Who shredded it to confetti? Who took an Action 1, made confetti out of it, and is now slabbing all this shit?
Yeah, I guess now you're gonna have a cutout of just different parts of it.
People are going to start shredding comics just so they can make more money on volume. So if I sell the book, I'll get $1.4 million. But if I sell 50 versions of it, or 500 pieces, or 5,000 pieces of it, and get 5,000 a piece, I'll make $2.5 million.
I can't figure out how to see what's the stuff that's already ended. It's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. You can't find like the stuff that's ended is like you can't see it anymore. Like what the hell, man? I don't know.
Well, there's an old select one on screen.
How is it? Yes.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, that makes the cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. The castle's got some green to it. The door is nice. The reds are good. The select is nice and white. What grade is that, man? Damn, yeah, that makes the cut. Yeah, I'll get that off you.
Yeah.
Well, I paid for this not, I don't know. I think it was like not that long ago, 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I'll give you double what you paid for it.
Half. I paid half what like a 2.0 or something went for.
Yeah, I'll give you double. Whatever you paid for that, double it. I'll give it to you. For sure.
I paid $50,000.
No, I think a 5.0 probably goes for, yeah, I don't, probably 40 grand.
I was going to say 35 to 40 grand at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what did that 1.0? There was a 1.0 that went for, was it 17 or 19 grand?
I don't know. I mean, that's a massive timely key,
Yeah.
really. And yeah, look, there's timelies that I want, but I don't want to pay timely price for them. And so I'm out. You know, like a Cap 74. I would like a 3.0 of a Cap 74.
Oh, you mean the
Yeah, the Red Skull. It's kind of horrific. I think that fits in my category of books. I would buy, like, if there was like a good looking 3.0, I would buy that for like
that 2.0 didn't go for that high.
like 5,500 or something. But that's like a $12,000 book now.
It went for like $6,000, I think. The latest one.
The 3.0.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I remember it being a little cheapish. I'm trying to get another mouse to work.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, like, All Select one.
Be right back.
Very Mystery one is good, but I don't want to spend like 15 grand on a VG copy. But whatever. I mean, there's plenty of other stuff to get out there. The most I've ever spent on a book is all right. So the most I've ever spent on a Golden Age book is 7,000, and the most I've ever spent overall is like 8,000, and that was Silver Age books. The most I've ever spent on a Golden Age book is $7 grand. You know what I mean? And for $7 grand, you're not going to get any of these timelies really, unless it's like a restored beat 1.0 or something. Really.
Yep, they are sort of kind of continuing to inch out of that range, or they're already out of that range. Certainly, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
and there's.
I got my mouse to work.
All right, cool. Yeah, so there are some categories in Golden Age that are outpacing the others, and it's because I think there's enough of them coming up. It generates a lot of interest, a lot of opportunities for people. It generates a lot of new fans and collectors going after them. It can be doable right off the bat if you just have money. And timelies is at the top of that list. Fiction house stuff is on that list too. There's enough of them around, but not so many that it makes it easy. It's still challenging and tough. Really good books, and there's enough of them around. It generates a lot of interest. Like people getting into Golden Age, you can't be like get into Golden Age and all of a sudden I'm going to collect early Fox books. Okay, that's freaking impossible. Okay, that's not where you start. But you can get right into Golden Age and be like, I'm going to go after timelies, and there's plenty to choose from, and you can do that with Fiction House. You can do that with PCH. PCH is really popular for the same reason. So timelies is at the top of that list. You know, of course, you have your Batmans and your Superman stuff. Same deal. And EC books. EC for PCH. That's why EC books have gone nuts. It's like well-known, well available, good stuff for entry level golden age collectors to start going after, and it's quality stuff. And
Yeah, I was just
are leading that list, and then the price. I watched Timeless. The prices have gone nuts over the last 2 years.
There was some that were not terrible, but they weren't really keys or anything.
Well, I mean, like Cap 46, is that the oven Holocaust?
Yeah. Well, that's a key.
Well, I know that's a key, but it was a key before, and it's selling for like 4 times what it was like a year and a half ago. Yes, it's a key. All Select 1 is way up. Cap 74, all these books, they're keys, and they're just way up from where they were a year ago. And I think that's why they're awesome books, and there's enough of them out there to sort of move the needle, so to speak.
so,
As opposed to box books, like I picked up this jumbo for what I consider in this market very, very reasonable. You know what I mean? Like, you're not getting any Timeless for what I paid for that jumbo 10. None.
I was just talking to someone earlier, just kind of communicating via text, and we're talking about EC, like Tales of the Crypt and so forth, and I had made a reference that I don't have very many, but there's a few that I might start to grab it. I think those have definitely moved up quite a bit, especially the higher grades of a lot of those ECs.
Yeah.
Those have moved up.
But the higher grades, like, all right, so I think there's a lot of new collectors in Golden Age, and I'm happy to see it because Golden Age is awesome. More the merrier. It's a great category. Everybody should get in it. Mm-hmm. Okay. But if you were in Golden Age for a while, and you're into PCH and you know about ECs, and you see an 8.5 or a 9.0 of a non-key, like middle of the run Tales from the Crypt. Okay, that's not a rare book. It's not hard to find that grade. It's not like Knock Your Socks Off 9.0. Oh my God. I mean, it's a solid book. Now, don't get me wrong. That's a good, solid condition book. But is it, $3,000 book? Well, it is now. But I'm telling you, like 2 years ago, any random ass EC book in a 9.0, $600 maybe.
Hey, can you give me Guinness?
It's not like a 9.0 and an EC. It's not. I don't want to say it's nothing special. It is special, but it's really become like Crime Suspense Stories 22. Low grades of that are like double what they were a year ago, and they're good books, and that's like entry level. Not entry level, but when you first get into Golden Age, the first stuff you find out about is the stuff that comes up the most: ECs, Timelies, Harvey PCH, stuff like that. And if you start getting into it and you get deeper and down the rabbit hole, then you get into like the Fox stuff, the Continentals, all that random stuff, novelties. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I kind of joke. Maybe comics are just keeping up with inflation. You gone to the grocery store lately? I don't know. Yeah. I'm just, whatever it is, a loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, whatever it is, it's probably gone up the equivalent of some.
I'll tell you, I know, like the last few days, the stock market's been doing good, and people are like, "Oh, we're out of it. Things are getting better." Okay, they're not getting better. Things are going to get a lot worse before they get a lot better with just the value of the dollar and the economy and just global shit. I don't see it getting better anytime soon, but there'll be little spots of hope along the way that it keeps getting worse. But the best thing you can do is put your cash into assets like comics or precious metals, or even some stocks, or anything that holds value, like art, comic books. Yeah, they're great. Inflation's not going away anytime soon. Okay, the dollar's like anything else. There's a supply and demand, and the supply is through the roof. And it's just, if you had barrels of oil, you'd be in good shape. Anything, gold, comics, art. That stuff's really good right now, and I just think it's going to get better and better and better. All the things are aligning for stuff like comics to make it more popular place to put your money. Who's that guy that's on Shark Tank?
You can put me on the big screen. I get the auction.
Okay, good. FYI, we're doing Guinness and.
I joked earlier this
spot. These are ice cubes, not bullets. These are the new.
Really?
These are steel. Drink. You put them in your. They're steel. They're shaped like bullets, but they're for chilling your drink.
Nice.
It doesn't make your drink watered down. So you put them in here, and then you
Don't swallow that.
Yeah,
No, you
speaking of which, I
can't.
think guns and ammo is a good place to store money as an asset, honestly, because they're
Yeah.
inflation proof too. I started saving all the pennies that I find and come across that are pre 1983 because they're mostly copper. Now you're not allowed to melt them down, but I feel like I'm just getting them anyway. Might as well keep the copper ones because
Save your pennies. You heard it here first on Golden Guys.
yeah. I mean,
We're telling you-
anything that has real value, just just have that instead of cash. Cash is no good right now, and it's just going to get worse. That's just my view of it. So
I
comics.
spend cash as soon as I get it.
Yeah, I put cash in the comic books. A great idea.
So I had this crazy. I mean, it's not really. It's not a. I say it kind of half jokingly as a business idea, but
You could do it.
I mentioned it to somebody else earlier today. So it seems like in the community, right? You ever watch like books? They trade. They go to this person. Somebody gets a book. It goes over which way. It's like a merry-go-round of books.
Yeah.
So what I think we should, there should be a deal is like almost like a rent-to-own. Like I'll just rent somebody the ability to hold that book and manage it, and then but you can buy it back from it at some other point in time. I think we got a business.
Yeah, that's not bad. I've also thought about doing options on books, like selling. I'll sell call options on my books. Like I'll give a price and a point in the future, and you pay me a certain amount for the right to buy that book at that point. And
at that grade.
Yeah, like my exact book, like a book that's worth $5,000 now, I could sell a call option on it where you can buy it 6 months from now at $7,500, and you just pay me the premium on the call, and then 7 months or 8 months or whatever when it comes up, you have the option of buying that book at that price. And it's like you can lock in the profit. If they turn it down, you keep the premium. I don't know. Yeah, I think there's interesting stuff you can do with this.
Well, because there's so many people that
we have a company, Louis. We started a company. I'm paying for it every day.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, so I think a lot of the collectors out there. Now, I'm not one of them, but a lot of collectors, they hunt the book, they seek the book. Then once they have it, then they're like, in a short amount of time, like, oh, now I have it, I need to move on from it, right? And so it's almost like, and so I almost wonder, like, it's just a hobby. People can have it physically and hold on to it. And I hear what you're saying.
No, that's not a bad idea because, dude, I totally do that because
I thought you were talking about
the challenge of getting the book is more exciting than holding it forever. I don't usually hold most of my books forever. I mean, some of the Golden Age, that's rare. I have a tough time letting go, but really, all those books, there's probably like 15 of my books that I just are not selling. Everything else, I pretty much will put up on the block at some point. And yeah, once I got it, I not that I lose interest in it, but I'm ready to move on to something new.
Yep. I will show it up. Sean, Pete Monster, what whiskey am I drinking?
Ooh.
It is Green Spot, single pot, still Irish whiskey. MSRP is usually around $60, which
I thought you were drinking Guinness.
I am. Well, I do both. This is Green Spot. Don't get Yellow Spot. It's more, and it doesn't taste as good. Single pot, still Irish whiskey. This is the best of the bunch. It's better than Redbreast. It's true to the single pot still. I do like Redbreast, and that's what I'm having right now.
Is he going to bring some whiskey to the show?
I'm going to bring cigars. I got a set of 6 cigars, really good cigars that I got, and I'm going to travel with them. That I got from a guy in a kind of a. I shot better than he did, and he would get me these cigars, so I got them.
Sean approves. He says that's a good one.
Oh yeah, single pot still Irish whiskey. I've got that.
Be right back.
And I just picked up about 2 other ones this week. I've got the Tullamore Dew in the rum cask, which my wife is drinking right now. I just heard her stumble around. She just got that, but she's enjoying that. We're trying to get our son to go to sleep. My daughter's staying at her grandparents tonight, so just so we can have corned beef and not have to hear that we don't have chicken nuggets or everything else. So let's just bring this up right now.
All right. The silly part in my head, I can never watch people watch, and I always think of Anchorman. Scotch.
Sean, I just finished my last Redbreast 15 this year. Redbreast 15 is better than 12. Don't go with the sherry cask at any point. For the same price, get a 15. Redbreast 15 is very good. It's a little overpriced. You're paying for the name. But I don't think there's a better kind of a. It's got an orange cherry thing to it. I don't think there's a better single pot still than that one. Than the Redbreast 15. It is the best of the bunch. Um, so that's a good one in my opinion. Green Spot. Lewis and I both drink Angel Envy. Are you on your second bottle yet?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Nah,
Angel Envy. Angel Envy actually puts out. It's a U.S. company that puts out a rye that is done in rum. It's cast in rum, but the best part about it is it's a rye with the rye bite in the beginning, but not a bite, but it's that wryness to it. Just think about biting a rye bread when you know that smell hits you, and then it's as smooth as a bourbon after that, and it's very underrated. And I just Lewis, by the way, they have a Whistle Pig 18 at the liquor store in town. I went yesterday. If you want to go with that one, that is the best rye I think that's ever existed. So yeah, sherry cask whiskeys are so crap. I'm with you on that. I like my, this is my single pot still. Green Spot, Redbreast. Here we go. So he's back.
All right.
Oh, hang
Okay,
on.
you're ready. You're actually ready.
Yep. Here we go.
So congratulations to Sean. He picked
Yeah.
up a book. He finally did it. Finally did it. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't see this. Did this end tonight?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was working. I missed it all, but
I remember when someone said, "Hey, this thing hit 1 million," and I'm like, "If it doesn't hit 2, I'll buy it." I don't have $1 million, but I can guarantee I could buy it, put it in there, and sell it for $2 million the next day.
This book is going to overtake Superman 1 and Batman 1 at some point.
And rightfully so. My argument with it is it's rarer.
Is there a Batman one that sold this high?
Probably.
The 9.4 from Vince sold in a private sale for $3 million.
Batman one? Oh,
yeah.
What he said. I disagree with that. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying I don't think anybody would pay $3 million for a 9.4 Batman 1. However, this 9.2 is not a Frankenstein, not anything done to it. It does have notes on it. Can you
zoom in? Isn't it the
pay copy?
Yeah, pay copy.
Yeah, it's separate. Yeah.
So I kind of think this book is congratulations to the person who owns it now. I'm sure you worked hard for the money and everything else. That's great. But in reality, this is a book that I think in a higher grade of 9.6, if there was one, I think the highest is a 9.94. This would surpass, or at least come on par, eventually with the Tech 20, the Batman 1 and the Superman 1, and it will surpass that. There are less high grade copies of this than there are of those books. And this book, we've had it on the air, has more significance in the future of comics than Batman 1 and Superman 1. I'm not saying Action 1 and Tech 27. I'm saying I consider this better than Tech 27.
And this used to be bigger than Action 1 even.
But yes, it was. It absolutely was. This was number one.
The comics have evolved without an MCU for many decades. And Action 1 and Tech 1, the Batman and Superman 1, Batman 1, I mean, those are like the big books, okay? And then you have the other DC heroes. I rarely say that the MCU affects these major Golden Age Marvel books. They live and die on their own. But the MCU has made Marvel more of sort of an iconic cultural identity over the last 20 years than it ever has been previously, probably. So people who, you know, Marvel has there's, I don't know, there's a certain status symbol to Marvel now because of the MCU just making Marvel a household name, where DC hasn't really done much to go forward. They're just still what they are. But Marvel has made strides forward as far as being a pop cultural iconic name, even more so than it's ever been. And that helps the first Marvel comic become what this one is now. And I think it's going to keep going.
And
In
look,
nine-
this one usually has a registration that's off. Almost always, it seems like.
Yeah.
And this
they was the
very
first
nice.
one.
Oh, yeah, that looks solid. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I said before.
No,
and
the
I'll say it again,
registration's off, but
I mean,
not too bad.
Barely though, compared to
Yeah.
I mean, I personally, this is just my take. I said this a while back, even I think on the show, is that to me, this book would and should be maybe number 2 only to Action 1.
I still put Action 1 ahead of it, and this is always my number 2 as well.
Yeah.
I think Action 1 is obviously number 1. I think Tech 27 is rightfully so number 2. And then I think this is number 3.
Good point.
And then, you know, the next level is a shootout between Batman 1, Superman 1, and Cap 1. I think Cap 1 will maybe even overtake those other ones.
Yes. Now, the other thing about the Marvel, in 1972, the price guide, the typewriter price guide that was found, that I know people, I've seen it in hand. I've talked to the guy that had it when he went up to meds. You know, we talked about it, how Wiz 2 was very high, was more than those. Action 1 and Marvel were always 1 and 2. Tech 27 was not even as in 72, post 66 Batman, Adam West, just because of comic collectors felt as if Marvel 1, Action 1 started both franchises. They did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
so does this include the 15% buyer's premium?
I don't know if they add that on that.
I think it is added when they show what it's sold for. I think so. I'm not 100%. I don't think they show it when you're bidding, but I think when they put the final result, it is. But somebody in the chat will know. Because
plus, if you lived in my state, Washington, you'd have to pay 10% tax. Oof.
10%.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ours is 5.3% here in Virginia.
Well, you're lucky. Better buy more.
I don't feel lucky when I pay 5.3% tax. Whatever. That's better than 10.
And
10%. Imagine, you know, 20 something thousand just for tax.
Well, maybe it was somebody in Oregon that bought it where there is no sales tax.
Oh, I'm sure it was someone like Jeff who has a business license or whatever, so they don't have to pay it. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, you know, mentioning the Wiz 2, which is Wiz 1, I am not big on that book as an investment because it has virtually no cultural relevance at all anymore.
Not anymore.
It just does. The only thing is newer, younger collectors, I don't see for the most part.
Yeah, but that movie
is on the level with these other books.
Things in the 70s that were bigger than they are today. Wiz 2 and Hairy Body Parts. That's it.
But I do have to say, being a Timely fan and owning, mine is coverless, but I do have this and a Cap 1. I still would, if I had to sacrifice one, I would keep the Cap.
Really? And if you had
I
to
would not. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
There's
you know,
thousands more Cap 1s than there are more.
Yeah, but you know, you gotta go with what you like.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't blame you for that.
You're talking to a guy who doesn't. I mean, I collect Wanted and crazy crime books that I like. I have almost like nobody collects Wanted comics but me, you know. So I go out there and I pay $300, $200, $100, $500, and I've got a Wanted run from 38 on.
Yeah, and there's those things like where you know, like whatever on paper or by the numbers, it might be worth more, but when it's in your hand and you got one go, you're not gonna let go of one of them.
No, there's a name for that. It's called the endowment value or the endowment effect. Is that So here's a way to visualize that. There are books that you might want, like say you want a Catman 28 in a 4.0, and you don't want to pay $5,000 for one. But if you have a Catman 28 and somebody offers you $5,000, you won't sell it. Well, if you didn't think it was worth $5,000 and somebody's going to give you $5,000, it would make sense to sell it. The difference is once you own it, there's an added value onto it. It's called the endowment value. And that's the value that is endowed on the thing by the virtue of you owning it. So once you own something, it then becomes more valuable because your ownership of it has value. Whereas if you're just looking for books to buy, you don't have ownership value of any other books because you don't own them yet. As soon as you own it, the value goes up to you. It's called.
Well, now we're gonna have to be paying endowment premiums because of this show.
That's why a lot of people won't pay a certain amount for a book. So if they ever own it, they won't sell it for that amount either, even though they thought that was too much for the book. They won't.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I certainly have a lot of books where, I don't buy high grade if I can help it. So, but because of maybe the grade or whatever, it might be technically worth only X. But I'm like, no way in hell I would ever sell it for that little.
right. And the endowment effect includes things like how much you personally like it, how hard it is going to be to replace, how it fits in with the rest of your collection. Like if you're a PCH collector and you have a gem Chamber 19, you may not sell it because that's like the keystone of the PCH collection you have. All those things factor into the endowment value of the book, which is over and above what the market value is. So that, it makes it tougher to sell something for a fair price that you weren't even willing to pay for that price to get it in the first place.
If you ever dive into the original art world, endowment value is our biggest issue.
Yeah,
because it's purchased from a dealer for emotion.
Endowment
when it's held by somebody, they tend to overvalue it. Like, I don't want to part with this for that price.
Yeah.
That's why what I tell people is they're like, what will you take for that piece?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could find a similar piece from a dealer better. But the fact that that's the only one, I'm sorry, but I will not sell it for what I paid for it, nor would I pay for what I am charging for it.
Right. Yeah, it's like if somebody wants to buy a book that you don't want to sell and they're like, just put a number on it, and you put some crazy number on it. And they're like, no way, that's way more than it's worth. And you're like, well, not to me.
It's the endowment.
Right.
We talk about it in the original art world all the time, that if it's why it's better to buy from the dealers like Anthony Snyder, like Ramita Man, like, what's better. They have no attachment to any piece of art.
Yeah, I mean,
if they did, it would be in their collection. If they don't, and it's for
unless
sale,
they start saying it's in their collection. Which
what happens with these rare books though is they funnel down. Eventually, they move around until they hit a dead end, and a dead end is a collector that wants to keep it forever for a long time. And over time, more and more of these rare GA books filter down to those dead ends, and it makes it harder and harder to get.
Like Lewis,
that raises the price on them because then pretty much the only place to find them now is from other collectors that have the endowment value on it, and then it costs more, and then that sort of helps raise the value of a lot of these books because they all eventually filter down and hit a dead end when a collector finally gets it that doesn't ever want to give it up. And then eventually the only way to get them is you have to pay so much more to get them off of those guys because dealers already moved them all. That's what happens with these rare GA books.
All right, here's one that's not ended yet. This is still going. Got tomorrow.
I was going to say, if that went for $14,000, that's kind of a steal, but it's probably going to go for $20,000.
What is that, a subby one?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think that's too much. I mean, what's the key about that? It's just
it'll go for 20 because of it's the first appearance of nobody.
Well, I don't see this even being that big of a key or that great of a cover to be.
I never liked it. I think it's overrated. I'd rather have Marvel Mystery 9 any day.
Well, yeah, that's.
And then C9.
Yeah. 9 is
But 9 is a better.
I'd actually have 9 over Marvel 1 as well. Oof.
It's a better cover.
It just
means not a better book.
All right. Let's see. I tried to look for this stuff, and
I'm going that Flash 1. I thought.
Yeah, the Flash 1 was actually pretty impressive. What it was going for.
That's brittle page.
That book is going to fall apart, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, they are known to be a little aggressive at times with their brittleness evaluations.
Well, I think this one is clearly brittle just from the notes because you have so many wraps.
Yeah,
completely. That just tells me the book is pretty crunchy.
It's falling apart.
I mean, you got the cover wrap split. You got
I was
multiple wraps.
I was very surprised by this actually, because it is rare though. These do
Right.
not come up,
Yeah, but 80 grand for a 1.5 brittle, that seems. I
and
mean, it's in line with what we're seeing in the market, but that is a strong price on that book.
yeah.
I'll just say that.
I think someone was saying a 2.0 or something like that was like 90K not too long ago, or like a 3.0. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think this would be,
I don't see this book come up.
range.
I honestly don't see this book come up that often.
No.
And so I give it its due.
That's what's going to happen when people, like the one bad thing about this auction was there was a lot of books, like they did multiple copies of the same book, which I felt was not great. But like if you have a bunch of flash ones, you got to trickle them out. And this is what can happen when there's not a lot of copies around.
I'll tell you that all flash one prices are going to go up, because there's flash fans and flash collectors that this book is out of 1.5 brittle for 80 grand is out of reach now. So most people are like, well, you know what? Forget the flash one, not getting one.
I thought this would be
all flash one, all flash
20 or 30. That's how out of it I am.
I mean, it's a good looking copy, but that's.
I haven't seen one sell.
Not even that good looking.
I mean, the colors are good. I mean, there's no big chunks out of it. There's color.
Faded. It's got some weirdness here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a high grade copy, but I mean,
I
got that jumbo. It's the same grade. It looks about as good as that.
It's solid. I mean, well, other than the brittle, I mean,
yeah,
that's the real surprising. That's the real surprise.
It's good presenting, but I wouldn't say it's solid.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. It makes me.
Your jumbo looked to be fully intact.
It
yeah,
makes
the jumbo is off white, fully intact, no notes.
But this would be potentially a new comic hobbyist, right? Where brittle doesn't matter as much to them because they might not have held an actual brittle comic in their hands and seen how kind of sad that really is, because it really does suck.
Well, I am shocked that it went over 50,000. I am at the same time, I'm like, well, when was the last time I saw one?
Yeah, they are great.
Yeah, I mean, the Flash 1, the All American 16, they're some of the real tougher books, you know what I mean? Like Batman 1, you see at every single auction, but something like that you don't see very often.
Oh, I don't know why I put this in here.
That's fine.
Whoa.
Wow, that's why.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, what's that? The rarest of the silver keys for Marvel, right?
Well, it's the rarest in high grade.
Yeah, high grade.
It's not the rarest. It's the rarest in high grade.
There are white pages. That's pretty sweet.
Right.
Well,
the thing about
I think isn't it the fewest amount of these on the census though for like
right?
the
It's fewer than them in the census, but they were also very, very few have been above 8 or 7 compared to your Tales of Suspense 39, your Journey 83, your I don't want to put Fantastic One in there, and I don't want to put because a Fantastic One in the same grade would do higher.
There's the total blues on the census.
How many?
The total blues on the census for Marvel keys. TTA 27 is 859, and then
the lowest, yeah.
And then that goes up the list, and you can see AF 15, 2258.
With TOS 39, it's under 2 to 2000.
Yeah, it's 1834. It's just after the FF1, and then you get to the
well, Daredevil shouldn't count because that was 1964, and that doesn't count. I mean, because if it was post 62, it shouldn't count.
Yeah, 63 is like the
cutoff.
Start getting.
Yeah, when I look at 64, you could find a 7.0 in anything.
What grade is that? 3.5.
Yep.
For what? 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I mean, 42, I feel like that book is getting no respect, dude.
Yeah.
It's getting left behind the other keys. Like, I feel like a year ago that was the same price.
Is there an ad for Batman 1 in that?
I don't know.
Because isn't that the next book?
I'm not sure.
I think it would say on the label if it had, so it doesn't say it on the label.
What does it
I
say?
don't know.
This book was out in the 40s, so it would have to be, you know.
Well, no, but Batman shows up in Tech 40, but I also think I always thought they were like the next in the storyline, or not the storyline, but the next in the series after this book was Batman 1.
I don't know. I just see like Robin and Wonder Woman sitting at the bar drinking and being like, "Yeah, nobody wants us." They're at the bar on like a Tuesday night, and
So
Robin.
Aquaman's already like on the floor.
Yeah, right. Robin and Wonder Woman are just doing shots at the bar. Nobody wants to go out with them. They're just drinking their woes.
Manhunter is way passed out. He was kicked out by the bouncers.
Nobody likes Manhunter.
I don't know. This book doesn't seem like it's moving, and I think it's a really good key. I don't know.
Oh God, here we
I've
go.
seen enough of this. I've seen
500 grand, yeah, 520. I mean,
I'm not even gonna go to what I have a friend of mine who
It's a
sold
nice
his,
copy.
my friend of mine sold his 3.0, or not sold it, traded his 3.0, got great books for it, and I thought at the time it was a great move, and it still is a great move because one of the books he got for one quadrupled in value. But he's like, "Oh, I could have had this." I'm like, "Yeah, but you wouldn't have the other two. The other two haven't jumped as much as you wanted."
Ooh, look at that.
yeah, that's pretty much in line with the last couple 2.0.
Was that yeah, well, yeah. That's I would say fair.
I don't know. The problem with this book is
I feel like this is still rising.
well, it probably is, but I just
70, damn.
It's
feel
got
like it's gonna run
legs,
out of
but I
little
don't think they're
gas.
running that fast.
At this price, there's so many people putting theirs out on the market. Like
Exactly.
the woodwork is like flowing
I
with
think
Batman ones.
this is why I love this show. DS hit what I was going to talk about today about Batman 1. Batman 1 is going to hit the market in huge amounts.
There's probably stacks of them at these auction houses that they're dripping out.
Yeah,
Like
it's not even
probably a whole stack at Heritage, and they got to put one out at a time.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got yourself a Batman 1, now might be the time to sell it, but you and everybody else that own it are going to sell it, or own it and keep it, and if you're not worried about it. But I know one person who has a great copy of a Batman 1, probably about an 8.0. He's not desperate for money or anything else. Actually, he just bought a Cap 3 and a 5.0.
Oh wow, that's a big book.
Yeah. Really blue label. Really actually presents like a 8.0. Just the back cover's got some marking on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, every single auction, I see at least one Batman 1, and it's just I know it goes through cycles because here's what's happened. There's so many people that owned a Batman 1 for years and would never sell it, and then the prices are where they are now. A lot of those collectors are putting them out in the market, and like the population is turning over from older collectors that have had it for a while to newer collectors who are just getting into it. So I think this is going to run out of gas at some point. It's not going to crash, but it's going to run out of gas. It's going to hit a lot of traction because it's just a lot of friction because it's not going to have like right now there's a whole bunch of older owners that have had the book for a long time putting it out there. And once all those turn over to the new guys who don't want to give them up, then I don't think the price is going to hold up because people will have gotten it and it's going to be a little Batman 1 fatigue sort of thing. There won't be many for a while.
I don't get this. How much of a difference there is. It's insane.
Well, look at the grade, first of all.
But
this has that special sticker on it too. It says,
no, I'm saying that this should be worth twice as much as a Batman 1 in my opinion.
There's a lot more Cap 1s than there are Batman 1.
Are there?
Yeah, we went over this.
Yes, you check.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
there's a lot of Cap 1s compared to.
You hear that, but
I'll look it up right now, but I think it's close.
There was a time where they were, Batman 1 was kind of always winning, but like they were sometimes a little bit closer, but now it's like not even close at all. Granted, this Cap is a little faded, but
we're just looking at blue label copies.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so Batman 1 has 131.
Yeah.
So
131
for the Batman.
131.
Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong one. Captain America Comics. Cap 1 has 88.
See?
Oh wow!
See?
But
I've seen so many more Cap ones than I've seen Batman ones.
I think in the case of Batman, I mean, it's just market appeal. Not that people don't like Captain America, but it's just like Batman's on probably more things. Hell, there's the Batman movies out right now. I mean, Batman is
That's a good point.
Batman, so I just think, I mean, oftentimes,
I would way rather have a Cap 1 than Batman.
Yeah, I would take a
No, I
Cap
mean,
for a
yeah,
Batman
yeah.
today.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, clearly, I guess if I walked up and down the street and said, like,
Yeah.
who do you like better, Captain America or Batman? A lot of people are just Batman is the.
Yeah, I mean, Batman is definitely more iconic right now than Captain
And then a
America.
lot of people say it's because of the Joker first appearance.
Well, that actually does come into play, but it shouldn't outweigh the first appearance of Captain America.
Yeah, I feel like a Batman one and a Captain America one, the same amount are getting cracked and resubbed. So that's probably the same effect on both.
Right. But I'm just saying, maybe the simplistic way is like,
What's the note?
right now, there's not a standalone Captain America in the theaters.
Yeah, so this one has very minor amount of glue on front cover. So that perhaps hurt it a little bit.
It's a little bit, maybe it's a little faded, but it's hard to say with the scan. Their scans are a little weird.
That has a CBA sticker, though, right?
Yeah.
QES.
So why the fuck is
Or
it
whatever
faded?
it is.
I'm sorry for my swearing, but why the hell would it be faded and get a CBA sticker?
I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
think the
literally
QES
I
standards.
CBA stickers on half my books.
I think the QES is more structural related.
Oh, is that a different? Yeah, that's right. They're two different things. QES is some other thing. I don't even know.
It's how intact the staple is with the rest of the book.
Well, I mean, it's more structural. How the wrap, the staple placement, the
What?
That's QES is more structurally related. CBA is more just overall presentation.
Dude, we need to get Golden Guy like approved stickers to put on
we need our own freaking grading companies.
All right.
But I don't want to touch your books.
That's a nice one. Only 30.
Yeah, I like Daredevil 1. I think it's
Bargain.
a cool book. I
need one.
Still upset that I turned down a trade for a 4.0 for that for one of my other books. And I don't know. It was a tough trade.
Look at the great
I hate to turn it down.
Awesome Everett inks on top of a Kirby drawing. It's spectacular. Look at that hair. It's awesome.
It's a good book. That's a nice grade for that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice copy.
Really nice reds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's solid. Yeah, I mean that's easily worth 30 grand.
Well, Jesus, 9.0. Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna get
that price.
I'm gonna make a trade.
Oh, still
all
going.
Right.
Still going.
How long does it have? Oh, 20 minutes.
Really?
We'll come back to that at the end, but I expect it to hit
20 hours. 20 hours.
Oh, 20 hours?
Yeah, we're not coming back.
Yeah, because that's a good book.
There's a 0.5 Wiz 2 on Heritage, I think. It's actually it's a pedigree. It has a pedigree or something.
No, that one was okay. So that is the promise copy that was sent to CGC. It had the wrong back cover taped to it, and CGC slabbed it as a blue label, whatever 1.5 or something, and it had the wrong back cover. So Heritage sent it back to CGC, and to get it regraded, CGC missed that it had the wrong back cover. Which I don't know how you
one that we all sent emails on. We were all like, "Hey, this doesn't make sense to us."
Yeah, you like the back covers of Atari video games. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so it is the promise copy that point.
The Metal Gear ad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like okay. So that's the story. Okay, yeah, 0.5 promise. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a 1.0. It was a 1.0 blue with the wrong back cover.
I'm gonna say this book hits 45 grand by tomorrow.
Oh, it'll go higher than that.
Yeah, it's too good.
That is a cautionary tale for the listeners out there, because they do miss things. So you might think you're really buying what you think you were buying, but they do make mistakes.
Well, I don't know. I mean, mistakes are forgivable, I guess, but when you are CGC and you are missing the wrong back cover on a major Golden Age key, I feel like that's almost inexcusable. That's as inexcusable as it gets for a grading company.
I'm just saying you want to base a little percentage of your choice on what you buy.
Yeah.
Other than the grade that some company that churns through these things.
We did talk about the wrong back cover on this show. We did discuss this, that we saw it out there saying, hey, we have this whatever book coming out. And I'm like, it's a wrong back cover. And anybody.
I was talking to somebody recently, and they submitted a book that was missing like 2 pages or 3 pages. It came back blue label. They missed it.
Yeah, they have too much volume and they're rushing and they just are making mistakes.
And they probably have I bet you they've got a bunch of newer people too that they've been hiring, trying to train to get up to speed with all the volume. So it's very possible.
Yeah, that's fine. I get that. And so that's why they're making mistakes. I'm not saying the mistakes are inexcusable. It's inexcusable that they're in a position where they have to make this many type of these mistakes.
Yeah.
If they just had their shit together and sometimes something slips through, yeah, there's a mistake. But they're overwhelmed and they're not coping with it at a competent level that collectors expect. And that's why I have not sent any books in. I sent my Avengers 1 back in because it had some work done on it. But I have not sent any books in at all last year even.
Yeah, I haven't sent any in a long time.
I just don't want them handling my books.
Yeah.
Same
disregard to go through quick. It's not when look, I don't work at CGC. I don't run the company. Maybe they're doing their best. Okay, that's fine. But for me, I've got to look out for my assets. I am not letting them handle my assets until they're caught up and able to competently handle the volume that's coming in. Nobody expected comics to hit this volume of popularity over the last year and a half, 2 years. Everybody's trying to catch up and cope with it. That's fine. So I'm just not going to let them handle my books for now.
I've been wanting to send in my pedigree books all on a whatever tier because it's a stack of like 20 of them that I've had for so long that I've got the provenance of and everything else like that. But I'm
look at that back cover, huh?
Well, that's ruined the best part. It's a Superman 1.
Still 123.
It'll go for 200.
I think this Wiz will at least get 50, right?
It should.
I didn't know it was slightly brittle, though. That might hurt.
Well, it didn't hurt the Flash.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen and heard, too, that a lot of books recently, like CGC's been putting a slightly brittle on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. They have. I mean, there has been a lot of that coming back.
I mean, I don't really like the term slightly brittle. I don't like it. It's either brittle or not. Slightly brittle, it could be. I mean, if it's brittle around part of the staple, but not throughout the rest of the book,
I heard someone explain that to me, that there's actually like a guide for that. Like it means like it can only go within a certain amount of the page from the outside inward.
Right. It's got to start at the staple and work your way. Yeah. But this is that. Look, I've used the owl card since I was 14, okay, which is 34 years ago. So the owl card has been around.
Is the owl card the give a hoot, don't pollute?
No, off-white. It goes through all the different page quality. And I have a copy of one, and I'll grab another one. I put it next to my books. And I said, okay, this is going to get cream to off-white. And I've gotten back white pages. And then I've gotten this one. I said, this is going to get off-white to white. I've gotten back cream pages. So while I like CGC for their, I mean, I just think there has to be a new party coming in.
I like CGC. I'm not against CGC. I just, when you have somebody overworked, they're going to make more mistakes and they're going to be careless and they're going to rush. It's just human nature. The solving of the brittle situation look, they have other priorities right now. They need to get caught up. So this is not going to happen. But suppose they're all caught up. They might consider what I think would be a good idea is on the back of the label, have a 3x4 grid, like a square grid, basically, that's in the shape of the comic book, and fill in those where the brittleness is. So you can see if it's across a whole edge, you would fill in all those boxes with an SB.
Can you show that
or
that
if it's just
Mystic?
one corner? Then you get an idea because not all
doing these up.
books are the same.
Yeah, definitely show that Mystic.
These are ones that I personally watched. Sometimes I'll go for it. So, see, look at that. I should have bought that.
What is it?
It's just, it's like a book I'd like to have, but I don't want to pay, a lot for. But if someone puts a little Sharpie on it, I don't give a crap.
Yeah, I've got a 9.4 of that.
$140, that's fine,
That's
I pay
a good
that
book.
for a Sharpie.
There's that Weird Tales 4.
Yeah, there's two of them. You see what I mean?
Yep. The blonde.
Oh, there's my heartbreaker right there.
Oh, 40? Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted it.
What did that 1.5 go for? I'm sorry. Did it say 20 grand? Did I miss
It's
that?
coming up. It's coming. All right, here we go. 3.5, 21.
Yeah, see, this is why I'll never own one. I'm not putting out
Yeah, it's way high.
That
But
is
that's a good book, but
that is a nice copy, I have to say.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Great registration and color on there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful copy. It's probably worth every penny, but that's what I'm saying. Like a year ago, that was not. Like 2 years ago, that would probably be half that.
Yeah.
go back to 2012 and look in the boards when Mike sold not this Mike, but another Mike sold his all select for 10 grand. And everybody said, I can't believe this book got 10 grand at a 7.5.
Oh God,
And it was an argument because I was like, I was like, I could do 8, and I was like, I'll sell all the other stuff to get 8 for it.
I did try for this.
So this is the first appearance of Sandman, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but which isn't the best thing about the book. It's the best thing is it's the best cover of Adventure Comics.
What's qualified about it?
Staples replaced. I'm curious.
Oh, spine completely split, cover reattached with tape on interior cover, and staples replaced.
Yeah.
So you take the staples out and you have a whatever.
I know somebody who bound every one of their Adventure Comics.
What's the page quality?
Creamed off
white. So yeah, I mean, not a bad copy.
What's it at right now?
It sold for
What?
I mean, practically 20.
I was thinking 10 grand at the most.
I know. That's what I was hoping for.
Well, the second tier DC first appearances in the Golden Age are a red hot category right now. Like Solomon Grundy first appearance, Starman, Dr. Fate, Sandman, Spectre. Spectre's probably the biggest of that bunch, along with maybe Solomon Grundy. But those are like the second tier sort of DC first appearance sort of things. That is a red hot category right now.
I mean, this is up there with the Flash as far as you don't see this very often.
Yeah.
We used to see it a lot. Like I know the guy who had the Mile High copy of this, okay? And he's on the CGC boards, and him and I talked about the 8 grand that we were going to do for the book. And I was talking, this was a serious 7.0, if not higher book. And it was 10 grand.
For a 7.0?
It was shocking that it got 10. Where he was like, I sold it for 10, and everyone's like, are you kidding me? And we all look back now and we laugh, but this is 10 years ago. That was a ton of money because it was sitting there. You can get but it wasn't what you could get. It was this book. We were all talking about this book, how, $4 grand would get you, it was $4,000 would get you a decent, a 4.0, maybe a 5.0, a 5, on a good day, a 5.5 or something like that. That's what this book was. And a lot more were sold back then. I will tell you that it wasn't that hard to find back then. The hardest books to find back then were Silver Keys that were hard, like a Strange Tales 110 was hard. Like I used to see a lot of this book on the boards. And then the auction houses took over and everything else. But on the boards, this was a real common book. I mean, just go back and if
Is
research
this a moment where someone would say, "Okay, boomer"?
Hello, you young kids. Whatever.
No, I'm serious. The boards were legit back then. They were legit places back then.
I don't like how this 9 is kind of cut off.
What's the other appearance here? Is that Sacco
46.
Strong? Secco, what is that right underneath there? Is it Sandman Begins? Who's the other one begins?
It's in the. Oh, I don't know.
It's right there on the. It's on the. It's right there. Is that Sacco Strong or Secco?
Well, that's no one who. No,
I know. That's why I was trying. I always like reading the obscure.
But do you know where his first real appearance is from?
Who, Sandman?
Mm-hmm.
Is it an all-star?
Wrong. It's from a World's Fair.
Oh, the World's Fair number 3.
I think it might be 2 or 1, but yeah,
that's the World's Fine. No, yeah, I don't.
it's a World's Fair where he first appeared. Which kind of who cares? And I don't think he's on the cover.
Well, this is the first Sandman in Adventure Comics.
Yeah, I mean it's his second appearance, but he wasn't anything in that other book, so I don't know. I think this is his first.
Well, the DC covers outside of the major superheroes are just all phenomenal covers too. Like,
yeah, look at that.
The Batman and Superman titles.
And
They're always better drawn.
They had a mandate to not have word balloons.
Oh, really? Yeah, it seems like it.
He wanted the editor wanted the action to just speak for itself. And
yeah, I think the adventures, the more funds, really, really good covers.
So yeah, congrats to whoever got that. That's cool. I'm glad they got it. I'm sad.
Yeah, get another chance at it
Someday. All right, here's another one I had my eye on.
That seems pretty cheap, $8.62.
But sometimes you lose an auction and then you're like, screw it, I'm not getting anything.
What's the restoration, if you don't mind?
I just closed the whole auction at that point. I didn't even care what else I was watching because I was like, oh well. But I mean, this is an example. It's pretty high. This is kind of a rare one. It's a later timely where they were in the paper shortage times. I think it has only just one staple. They're a little rare. It's definitely a nice presenting 3.0.
What's the restoration?
Small amount of color touch. That's what I like. That's
one piece of tape, 2 extra staples added after manufacturing.
If it's small amount of color touch and you can't see it, that's always cool for me.
Yeah,
I like those ones. Sometimes you see them and it looks terrible, but
yeah, I mean, you crack that out and put it in Mylar and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Because I know that's exactly what you could do.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
It's a pretty good late Nazi one with the V4
V2.
Yeah, they took some liberties with it. And Robot Bomb Factory. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Who's using robots now? I thought I heard we're using some robots over there to check on some things abroad, but yeah, we don't need to go that. Now here's some color touch where you can notice, which is like people drawn, and that's just not.
Yeah,
I just don't. I can't do it. But it's still a cool book. It's crazed Cap with a machine gun mounted on his bike.
With the motorcycle machine gun is always good.
Yep. And this is definitely like what you were saying, DS. That would never be $1,000 not too long ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But nowadays $1,000 is not it's not all that much. Here's another one I was looking at, the first Blonde Phantom. Really nice. Yeah, 9. I'm not surprised by that.
That's a good price. I mean, that's a good price. It's a great character. I mean,
it's about right. I'd say that's just about right. It's not like crazy high. It's not like Flash crazy high. This one, yeah, it wasn't too that seems a little high for 3. What do you say, DS? You had the pulse on these.
No, that's about right for that.
Lewis,
When it
remember
comes to
in
early
Minnesota?
Spider-Mans, I think obviously ASM1 is in its own class.
Looks like that Staples pulled. Or something.
Lewis, the guy
I would
wanted
say this is the
1,400. I
biggest of
give
the
him
early.
500 for it.
This is the best of the early Spider-Mans, probably.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say 3, and then 2, and then.
I mean, I would take 1 over
after
this,
that.
but then this one.
This is the biggest of the early ASMs.
This is the best early ASM. It's the best Spider-Man drawn. It's the best dramatic cover between 1 through 14 you see. Maybe, I don't know. I always say 1 through 14, but
if you can get
11
good
and 12
reds,
aren't keys. 11 and 12 aren't keys, but they're better action.
if you can get good reds on your number 1, then I'd take that over this. But
well, yeah, but it's number 3. So I'm saying post 1.
Oh, post 1, yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
But
yeah, I had no problem selling my 7.5 when I really put it out there.
I was very happy when I was in Minnesota with Lewis. I was talking to a guy about that, and remember, Lewis, I looked at 2 of them that weekend, and I said, and it was $1,200, and I said that's a 7.5 restored. I didn't like how the restoration was obvious to me, and then I looked at this raw copy that I said the best I can get out of it is a 3.0, and he wanted 1,200, and I said the best I can do is about 800 for it. And look at me now.
I feel like this guy got a decent deal. Well, I don't know. You throw in, if they still have to pay that 25% with tax and stuff, it's a little rough.
Oh, well, that seems that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm
a little high to me.
But this is hard. You don't see this very often.
It's not that uncommon though. It's not that uncommon. There were not massive produced like they were caps in like the 40 numbers, but the thing about this book is that there are a decent amount out there that aren't graded yet. And I've seen a lot of raw copies of these at a lot of big cons. What I haven't seen though is on this book, like this 2.0, to me, if somebody said $5,000 for it, I would have been like, that's my cutoff. I don't know, DS, I don't know if that's your cutoff on this, but a 2.0, that's my cutoff for that price.
What price? For me, I would probably, for this 2.0, I would be willing to pay like $3,500 to $4,000.
Right.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that.
No, you're not. I mean,
you're in the exact ballpark.
It's not just this book. It's you have to do like comps across all the stuff out there. Like, what else can you get for $7,000? You can get a lot of awesome shit for $7,000, and there's books out there for $7,000.
Look at the Daredevil you can get for $7,000.
It's a nice 2.0 though.
73 blues on the census.
You have to say it's a good 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy owning that copy, but I don't want to pay $7,000 for it. I mean, I got a Flight 11,
and it's not just 7, because I guarantee you, if you put 7 in right now, if it was still going, it would probably still go higher than that. What I mean?
Maybe. I think
the people who are gonna spend 6, 7, 8, 5 are gonna go up to probably 8 or 9.
Yeah, at this point, there was only one person willing to go higher.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's what it's going for, so fine. I mean, I know it's a big book, but in the DS price guide, which operates independently of GPA and auction results, this book is not worth $67.85.
And look, that's how entry level can get you in trouble, because you don't have the $220,000, so you can't get this. But I mean, look how much better this is for.
Well, that's also a 6.0 white, so there's 10 copies better out of 73, and it tops out at 9.2. There's a 9.2.
I was going to say it's over a 5, and it's.
I'm just saying this is a better deal, in my opinion.
It is.
You get thrown in with the other sharks at the low end entry level. It's competition.
Lewis, is it raining hard by you?
What's that?
Is it raining hard by you?
Can't hear it.
You could see this one has better registration for sure. It's got the stamp.
I mean, the reds on that are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't. This one for 20. This is sort of be a high grade, like
White
marquee
pages
copy.
too. Wow.
Yeah, this I don't have much of a problem with 20K on that.
I actually think this was, well, yeah, I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's 10 copies higher, but I'll bet you this looks better than a handful of the 10 copies.
And there's people who just won't deal with that stamp.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I think you probably save 5K. Like if that stamp was gone, it'd be 25 easy, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool book. I'm not paying that for that book.
Look at that. 23.
What grade is it?
8.
Really?
It's not a key. It's just a classic, really classic cover.
Yeah.
It's the Drop the Bomb cover.
Yeah, I mean, this one starts getting these timely prices. I think they're all too much, but that's because I'm not a timely collector. But that's probably worth it. That's a badass book.
I mean, 8.
That's a great price for that book.
8. Oh,
Old
8
label.
the high grade. You know, I mean, this is like
I mean,
9.
8 over old label of one of the best cover, top 10 cap cover for sure. It's my
Yeah,
favorite. I mean, the Drop in the Bomb. I'm a big Alan Bellman fan and everything else, but it's called the Bombs Away cover. It's so iconic as far as outside of him punching Hitler, 3, the first motorcycle.
And you got the flags. Look at the flags there.
Well, this is way better, like way better than that Cap 74 and 60. I would way rather have this. It's not even close. It's not
Wow.
$3 difference. I would take this over that in a heartbeat by many, many thousands.
And you could,
dollars.
yeah.
And they're almost the same price.
Yep.
And I would much rather have this. Was so much better than that Cap 74.
It's a great book. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I think, it could have. I think maybe, Vincent was probably like, I would have thought a little more, but yeah. And this one, similar. This is great. Very nice condition for this. Damn.
That's a good. Look at the colors on that.
Yeah, I know.
Contrast colors.
That's too much.
And 27 is one of my favorite covers as well. So
classic cover. When you think cap cover, I mean, this is not that. When you think of like what, how much? 9. You could. That's barely a little bit over than ASM 300 9.8. So when you think about it,
I don't know how rare this is to judge whether a 5.0 is a premier copy or not, or what's the deal, but it's a solid looking copy, that's for sure.
I say you judge it
the
against
Russian tanks are behind them, right?
Sorry?
It's the Russian tanks are behind them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a good book. I wouldn't even know to bid on these, what to bid on them. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would not think that would go for $9,000. I would think like maybe 5 or 6.
Someone wanted to pay 10,000 and no more.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's you can't go wrong investing in timelies.
Here's one.
What did it go for?
21.
Yeah,
my buddy just bought a 5.0.
Man.
I feel like that could have. Well, I don't know.
And I know he didn't pay much more than that.
It looks a little faded, doesn't it? Or
I wouldn't have bought that for 20 grand. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, there's something weird about it a little bit, but it's pretty fine.
My buddy just bought for the same.
A lot better than my copy. That's for sure.
Not more than. I'll show you the picture of it.
This balloon, though, this went up with so a lot of like Silver Age and Bronze Age collectors, kind of dipped into Golden Age. It's not a surprise over the past 10 years. And they are really into, well, I can't say for everyone, but a lot of them are into Stan Lee a lot. And this kind of ballooned in price.
Look at those colors.
Because of the Stan Lee thing. And I don't see that. But yeah.
And let me just show really quickly this, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I'm going to show you. My buddy sent me. Proud owner. Look at the color. Look at this book.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Around the same price, give or take, maybe $2,000.
Yeah, look at the reds in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a 30K for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same. And again, it's not like it's a newer generation label that much. It wasn't like it was slabbed yesterday. And if you look carefully, it presents way better than that.
Well, grats for him. That's a
So
nice one.
no, what I'm saying is that these, like what DS brought up about 1 hour and 13 minutes ago, was the same thing I'm going to bring up now. These auctions that are considered to be feature or whatnot are harbingers for people that will overpay for books.
Tell me when you're sharing again.
Here we go.
Okay. Yeah,
That's just one of those comments I want to make.
I mean, it's still a good book. I would say that's not surprising. And yeah, I would expect a little bit nicer kind of presentation for that kind of price.
1/3/27. We've seen the best cap books right now. All select.
Like this, I feel is still a little low.
That's a personal thing with you. You love this book.
Yeah, I do. But I mean, well, it is brittle. Okay, so that probably made it stay low. Look how nice that copy is, though. Wow. Great colors.
It is a good copy.
And again, you know, I'm not saying it's the greatest comic in the world, but when you're living in an age where a 9.8 Spider-Man 300 can go for $7,000 or $8,000, and you could get this for 11, that just doesn't seem right. All right.
No.
Then here we go. I don't know if this was a good deal or not. It was just something I was looking at.
What did it go for?
$9.11.
Yeah, I think that's a good price. It's not one of the best in that realm, but it's still Frazetta Famous Funnies.
I've seen grades in the 9s, the 8s, and stuff like that of this book, but that's still a good price for that book. To be honest,
I think it's a decent price.
Yeah,
I think whoever got that, super stoked they got it at that price.
Yeah, that was a good price. That was a good price.
I mean, 900. That's a tank of gas, so whatever.
Yeah.
You drive a 4Runner now. I told you I went hybrid for a reason.
Yeah, this one. Okay, this is one of the ones I'm talking about. Like a year ago, 18 months ago, this 6.5 would have sold for like $5,000 or something, probably.
No, 10.
That's a great book,
Oh,
though.
look it up. What is it? Torch. What's the number? What is it?
12. It's 12. It's the best single Human Torch cover.
Well, I can't keep track of these friggin' timeless.
There isn't a better Human Torch cover.
It's
than that.
called the Burning Arm cover.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, this one might be, I don't know, of the timeless.
It's the best one.
Yeah, it's super cool. Certainly the Human Torch, maybe of the, I don't know, it's cool. Yeah,
I'd say it's the best solo Torch cover for sure.
That's what I mean. Human Torch solo title cover.
A 5.0 sold in 2020 for 7,400. So that's pretty high.
I mean, this is another one of those timelies where you'll have no trouble. It's as liquid as it can get.
Wait, that's a 6.5 for 16.
That book. I always wanted a raw copy of it. I wanted the raw copy. I wanted to see the Submariner. The fact that the Submariner is right there over Torch's shoulder, and he's got a German and a Japanese right there, and not to mention the burning arm and everything else. It's so much more impactful than. I mean, if you think about this as far as Human Torch covers go, I guess number 18 is good, and there's a few other ones.
23 is good.
Yeah,
big robot
cover. Yep.
So 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, July of 2020.
Well, plus this copy is white pages too, so just saying.
8.5 sold for $18,000, less than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What did this go for? About 17, 18?
16.
And that was on Heritage, and it was an 8.5 cream to off-white.
This is a good price. The winner who bought this is happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's You
It's
keep
a
this
tough
long
book.
term. You keep it long term, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a hard book to find.
It's not like 20 years from now, people aren't going to care about this.
We might have Human Torches though.
I'd say I'd rather have a nice 46 cover, the Pickle Hitler one.
Yeah, that's
This-
the last of the Nazi covers, right?
It's close. It's close. There's the driving. There's the like steamroller with
I
spikes.
like the Japanese ones more with Torch, just because.
That is a beaming copy though. That is a
Yeah,
phenomenal.
that's a great one.
Yeah.
And here's I thought I had another. Yep, here's another one. 7.5, 23. See, this is the thing. Like, why did they put two of these in similar grades right next to each other? That was stupid.
Yeah, but they both sold pretty good.
I'm sure they would have sold better if there was only one of them.
Yeah, and that's from a collection. What's the collection on that?
John Burke.
John Burke copy. Oh, it's
John
a
Burke.
Crippen D copy and from John Burke collection. So yeah, that one's should be maybe even more.
It's another
John
good
Burke
one.
is never going to be a pedigree, no matter what.
I like the 6.5 better. The looking, but that's just me. I don't know why. I mean,
The
No, you can
6.5
sign that
is
in.
lighter,
The
for
gold
sure.
label.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'd love to see both of those in hand. Oh, that's how you could really kill them.
yeah.
All right, then what have we got here? Oh, this was something I was watching. Cheap find, you know. I used to pick this up.
Oh, but no, but I like 16. This is the one I brought up. What I said.
I used to pick up stuff like this for like $200. Not
but I
that
love
long ago.
16.
Restored, kind of nobody cares issues.
Go down.
They're
It's so
still
much
awesome.
more interactive.
Yeah, it's a great
It's
cover.
a great one. It's what this was 40.
44.
It's after D-Day, but it's
Yeah.
it's the D-Day story, right?
Yeah. Well, this is in Japan.
Supposedly that's the
Not
D-Day
really.
story. Yeah,
And then we got
that was a good price. Nah, skip that.
Wait,
I don't
what?
want to see any Fantastic Fours ever again.
I think
That's sold for what? $7,000?
this
I
is
had
old.
a 4 or 5. I'm not getting into it. I'm done with
That's
it.
old. That's old.
Oh, I was gonna say that's a freaking steal on that.
Yeah. That was
It's not a steal.
on my watch.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, but that's like a $20,000 book now.
I sold
All right,
mine
here we go.
for $45,000 for 4 or 5.
This is the kind of thing would never go for $500, just like 5 years ago. Would
much
never
did you
get
get for it?
over 500 ever.
Are you Schomburg? Are you going to Schomburg it for a while?
Look at that.
I
I'm
am.
not a big fan
I
of this one.
understand it's a good one. I never liked that book.
I'm not a big fan.
I like it.
I don't even put it in my railroad category or
You
my
know what's the
automotive
sneaky?
category.
Yeah, but the if you're in the know, you're buying this because it's the first Black Widow appearance, which is
Meh.
true. She's a very cool character in the timely version. She's you'll have to look it up, but she's very cool. I would definitely pick that up for way less than that. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
95.
this was a good book. I'm happy this went for the price. It's finally giving the devil his due.
I still don't know if it's caught up to that crazy price that one sold for a long time ago, but
I don't know. I think that's a solid sale for that book.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a 3.0 sell for that price again.
I'd rather have a 54 though, honestly, even though it's not.
It's a better cover, man. When he's so huge.
54 is one of like the top 10 Golden Age covers ever.
Is that a Bernard Bailey cover? That one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely rather have a 54, but this is still cool. But yeah, not 3.0. Wow.
54 I would take just because of the cover, obviously, but that's one of the top 10 Golden
This
Age
is pretty tough to find. Almost worse than the 54.
Which is weird because like 61, I've seen more fun 61 and more fun 59 and stuff like that I've looked for, which more Dr. Fate oriented. Never sell for this price, but You know.
And that's solid. First.
That's a good book.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Bring it back up to the top. Let me see something there. There's. Well, I just said 61, but wait. There's. What does it say? Classic cover.
Yeah.
This is awesome. The second.
Although
best
I think some CGC copies don't say classic cover on this book.
Oh, because there's better Dr. Fate, but I like this cover.
Yeah, me too. I used to have. That's a good deal. I wouldn't
Lewis,
be.
remember when I mentioned to Lewis, I forget, were you at C2E2 or where were you? Where I said, if they have a Morphun 69, I want to pay for it.
I think I bought one of these for like under $200.
I've always wanted one of these, but I wouldn't pay $1,000.
They used to not be too much.
No,
Oh,
they weren't. Oh, wait, yeah. I mean,
I
two
might have
will get $1,000 of this book.
I might have bid, but I think I shut it off because I was mad.
You pulled a Cartman.
I don't know if this is.
Yes.
I have no idea how much this is good price or not. I have no
It
idea.
seems it's
It's about fair. It's about
It's
right.
higher than I would expect for that book.
I would
honestly.
expect
Yeah.
DS a 4.0 should be $1,000.
Yeah, 4.0 probably be. It would definitely break 1,000. A 4.0 probably be close to $2,000 maybe, but it starts. Yeah, I don't know, 1,600 maybe for a 4.0.
It's a nice presentation.
Yeah, it's a good looking copy.
Yeah,
I love that book. I've really owned one.
that's a great 2.0. Oh, I wanted that.
Oh,
too.
I like that book.
That's pretty
the
nice.
first Destroyer, first Drax, right?
No, it's like the third one or something, or Destroyer, but it's a tough one to get. For some reason, this one just doesn't show up very often.
Missing 2 wraps.
And it's damn funny, him on mine head. It's pretty funny. I sigh a lot because I could have bought one that was missing like a centerfold for like $200, and I was like, no way.
Isn't it like Drax? Isn't the Destroyer supposed to be the assassin of the bunch? He's not a robot, though, right?
No, he's a guy, I think.
Yeah.
Guy with clown pants.
He doesn't wear clown pants. You're right.
And what is the deal with this? 2 center wraps missing, and panel cut out. That's weird to me. I mean, why is that not incomplete? I don't know. 2 center wraps missing.
What do you got?
Wouldn't you get the same exact thing if it was 2 center wraps married? You get the same exact ring.
Yeah.
Which that doesn't make sense because the 2 married would be way better than this.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I agree.
That's weird. That's a great presenting cover, though. It's really nice. Okay, next. Oh, another classic. Let's see what's wrong with this. Small amount of color touch, small amount of glue.
This is Mystic 8, right?
Yep.
This is actually pretty cool. Look at the way they made the Japanese.
Well, it doesn't necessarily say it's Japanese, but I think they're more like Nazi monsters.
Okay. Well, this was done in 43.
This was right after Pearl Harbor, so I mean,
It's Japanese.
It's
Well,
it's
there's
how they
sausages
portrayed
all over.
them for sure, but there's no markings or anything.
Right. Yeah, they have this.
I like the kind of sci-fi aspect. This her
Yeah,
dress
this
and
was
the coffin kind of look sci-fi to me.
It's an
This
Iron Maiden.
was a good
Yeah.
run.
But the colors, I don't know, very cool. Kind of Schonborg style colors on this.
Is this a Sid Shores?
It's a Gabrielle,
Oh,
but it's a nice one.
yeah. I don't really mind.
I
them.
sold mine to someone who claimed they had like 7 copies already. This is a nice one. I don't like the drawing. I think Kirby had a long way to go still at this stage of his career, but I do like it's one of the early Hitlers where they don't make him look like a fool. They make him look menacing, which is pretty cool. early.
book.
And it's kind of like the Ark of the Covenant or something, you know.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Elliott's getting attacked. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I
Is
like
that
it.
Hitler's Pandora box? Is that the Pandora's box cover?
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. The Trunk of Terror.
Now Kirby did the lines on that.
Kirby did. He's credited for everything. I mean, him and Simon, you know,
Right.
as they were kind of a team back then. But it looks very Kirby to me.
Yeah.
And it's got a really wacky back cover. Yeah. Oh, I was looking at this. I'm surprised that went for so much for being restored. It's
Yeah,
small
me too.
for my touch.
I have the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice sci-fi key.
I've had that book for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted one. I didn't think I would have to pay that much. But
Yeah, I think when you get into like the DC Code sci-fi, this and Mystery in Space 1, those are really gaining a little popularity.
All right.
7.
Now I'm not going to look at a 0.5 because that's orange, not red. Show me a good looking copy.
Wrong back cover.
It's
Yeah, I caught that one.
Yeah.
you're damn right it is.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. That's the first Silver Age.
No, I'm a big fan of Showcase 4, and I want to see bright reds on that.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if you want, this is a big key. If that was an AF-15, it'd be 20 grand.
7.0, 40 grand.
4 or 5, 32K.
Yeah, if that was an AF-15, it'd be double. So
Yeah,
I
I think this is and my personal opinion of this book versus AF-15, I could have bought an AF-15 years ago I have my AF-15, but I could have swapped a guy who wanted to do a trade and everything else. I couldn't
I'll tell
get
you,
it.
if you're looking for,
Honestly, this book is so much harder than an AF-15.
yeah, if you're holding out on the Showcase 4 for a nice red cover with off-white or better pages, it's almost impossible to find those two.
Yeah.
This is about as close as it gets, honestly.
Yeah, this is really good. And even then, like this mark over here, you know, they always have this weird feeling like, did someone like erase over there a little bit or something? Or, you know, it's really hard to find one that doesn't look marred in some way.
Yeah, this is a really solid copy for this book. Good paper quality too, off-white.
And a huge, really nice, giant codes stamp. Look at that.
I personally have been on the hunt for people a 7.0 or higher with great reds and a lot of money behind it. If it has good reds, it's not a problem. The problem is that the reds on this book all faded. The first, first 600 printed or the story behind it is that it used to be the first ones were really red, and then they never replaced it because it wasn't a big deal for them. I mean, Showcase 1 was a fireman story that didn't sell. Showcase 4 is the first one where they added Flash, right? With Barry Allen.
Yep.
Flash. It's the dawn of it. So they didn't, when they put it out, after a certain number of runs of it, they just stopped. It said they set the printer for a certain number. Like the red level was way high in the beginning and way low at the end. If you ever seen the Crippen copy of this, or there's a few other copies I've seen where like they're really, 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 really red, and those are the ones that are most desirable.
Yeah, I used to have this, and it's awesome, like through and through. Like the whole book, the interior is great.
It's such a good book. You're right, because that's what most people tell me. They want to crack it out as soon as they get it.
It's awesome. It's a fun read.
But
there's no way in hell
storyline
I would ever
DC
take
has.
this over Amazing Fantasy.
If you no, most people did. I mean, I'm not I mean, right now, yeah, Spider-Man is Spider-Man, and it's just value-wise.
You're never
If
gonna
they
get.
value out of it. AF-15 is the Spider-Man story is a 6-part story in there.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you're
not
never
the
gonna get
full
one of
book.
these
This
for
is
less
the
than
full-
5K.
Bill
no
Gates
matter
4
what.
Barry Allen is 13 pages of Barry Allen of the whole. You almost get an origin story.
The
I
whole
mean, the
book
real-
is Barry Allen, from what I remember.
right, but the,
Like 2 stories.
but the true origin is in there as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
everything, and it's awesome.
I mean, when
Carmentino, great Carmentino.
yeah. I mean, it's such a good book. I like it more than AF-15 for its not for its.
I think there was a time where people overpaid a little bit for these when the show was out and all this, and then we're still feeling that effect because there aren't too many and people aren't letting them go cheap.
I mean, Wally West is nowhere near as cool as Barry Allen.
Although I would rather have a real Flash one over that for sure.
I think this is a good price for this.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
agree with TS on that.
First Destroyer, isn't it?
No,
Oh, it's not?
no. This is 10, so this would be the 4th.
7.
So he
Yeah,
came.
I still think that's a good. I think it's one of the better Destroyer covers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and there's only like 5 or something.
No, doesn't he appear in 2 other books between this?
He came out in, I think, 5 or 6.
44.
5
Well,
or
he
6.
came out in 5, but doesn't he appear not in Mystic twice?
Oh, he might appear, but not on the cover.
Oh,
I mean,
right, yeah, but he appears in
yeah.
2 other series.
But this is
It's
the last of
It's
the
him,
Mystic.
Angel, and there he appears in that storyline.
Yeah, but no one's reading the timelies, especially in this. After Everett,
I do because I bought all the reprints of it all.
whenever
I read all the timely.
before, that was the end. That was the end.
I think the timely reads. That's Stan's best work.
Oh, okay.
You don't like it?
No, I like the Everett stuff is great, but he was in the war.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Let's see. Do I have anything else here? Nothing. Yeah, we looked at that.
Yeah, pretty good recap. You got most of all the big stuff.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us again. Hang on, let me get that. Oh, good job.
Thank you.
Thank everybody for joining us. We think we had a good time. Anybody have anything they want to share, or we're good to go?
I might be on Biggie's channel tomorrow, showing off some toy stuff.
Oh yeah, nice.
Oh yeah, he has a question for you. He bought a skyscraper GoBot, but not from Big. That he got that I kind of tagged you in something on Instagram.
Oh.
And I don't know anything about it. I think he got a good deal, but I know you
Well,
know.
I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So
that should be cool. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thank you everybody who stuck around with us. I think we saw some great books. Congratulations on your pickups, DS, Lewis.
Thank you,
Mike, and everybody else. I'm going to play the theme song us out. Say goodbye, everybody.
all right, see you guys
later.
We'll do the Irish exit. Hang on.